Facebook and YouTube channel. Also available on X and Instagram if you're on the 1440 account. My name is Connor Halley, sitting in for Jason Gregor. We got Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson along for the ride as well. Wanye Gretz will be in shortly. The Jason Gregor Show is brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Today is Wednesday. That means you got the Lotto 649. You can also head over to the casino area. And when you deposit a minimum of $5, you can get a $50 free play in the casino when you use the promo code SUMMER. Check it out, playalberta.ca. We're coming to you live from the eWell studio here in West Edmonton Mall, where the real power plays to shop, ewell.ca, for all your electrical needs. Online 24/7, ewell.ca, your partner in power. 1-833-401-1440. That is the email. You can also reach us, or the text line through email. It would be connor@sports1440.ca. Big thank you to everyone tuning in on the YouTube channel right now. Kyle, Jason Gregor will be back on the show Monday. Just taking a couple weeks off to recharge the batteries before hockey season, football season, the NBA all get going again. So Gregor will be back on Monday. You'll have me Thursday, Friday, and then, as I just said, Gregor back for the remainder of the hockey season. Lots to get to on this show today. We're going to go all over the sports landscape. At 2:20, we're going to talk to Curtis Pashelka, covers the San Jose Sharks for the Bay Area News Group. Of course, you heard it in the intro. Fantastically done by Declan Kruger. Emberson, new member of the Oilers, only 30 games in San Jose, and it was a tough season, but analytically speaking, seemed to do okay, had 10 points. We'll talk to Curtis about that and a little bit more. You know, what's Cody Cece's role going to be in San Jose? Is he expected to be there past the trade deadline? And we'll see, you know, how are things going for the new home of Macklin Celebrini, the first overall pick in this past draft. We'll also talk to Mike Wilner of the Toronto Star and the Deep Left Field podcast, the Blue Jays. Question marks around that team. What's the future of Bo Bichette? Who on this team is going to be the face of the team next season outside of the big ones? We'll talk to Mike about that. We're going to go to Chicago and talk some NFL with Alex Shapiro, covers the Bears with NBC Sports Chicago. Caleb Williams looks dynamic, making some outstanding throws. Kind of resembles a former quarterback that was in that division. Some called him the owner of the Chicago Bears. He's got some Aaron Rodgers type tendencies. We also know Keenan Allen is there. They got DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. The running game's been kind of revitalized. DeAndre Swift. So we'll talk some football with Alex later on. Also, we got the Oil Report. Randy Janda will join us, talk about the Vancouver Canucks and another little scouting report on one of the newer Edmonton Oilers. We'll do 5 questions. Can't wait to see what Declan's got cooking up for the Mount Rushmore of whatever the topic might be today. Spec at 5, as he always is. And then Rob Demovsky covers the Green Bay Packers with ESPN. He'll join us at 5:20, and that will do it for our NFC North preview, as tomorrow we'll head to another division. Not exactly sure which one yet, although if you've got some ones you think we should check out, 1-833-401-1440, you can let us know. The text line getting going already, but I think it's just carryover from the Lowdown with Lowtide. I'm always interested to see what comes in here. Jim says mincemeat pie is the best. Declan, were you and Tide talking favorite pies on the show today?
A little bit. I don't know how it actually came up. Could not tell you. No idea. But we did talk about pies a little bit. We got to talk about key lime pie, a little pumpkin pie in there. Then mincemeat pie was thrown in there, and bit of conflicting views on that one. I don't think it's the worst ever. But it's definitely not the best. You know what I mean? That's all I would say.
I mean, a mincemeat pie, that's more of a dinner pie, is it not?
No, because mincemeat pie, it's like raisins and nuts, and it's like, I think there's like maybe a custard. It's like, it's pretty gross, but it's not the worst you can. Like raisin pie was brought up, and who the hell wants to eat raisin pie, right? That's all I would say. That's what I'm saying.
Might as well be pickled pie or something. No, thank you. Key lime, I see it on the text line. Big fan, pumpkin pie, but yeah, I don't know. Not exactly sure about the old pie game. Montana de Rice says, you guys had Bonta Hill on already, didn't you? Yes, we did. We had Bonta. We went through the the NFC West. Counts the AFC or NFC. Not getting that one right today. But yes, we did do that division. We could do the AFC West. I'd love to talk Chargers. Maybe we'll do that. We had Raiders today earlier on Fantasy Frenzy. I don't know how the Raiders are going to be. That quarterback situation, a little confusion there. We'll see what happens. If you're listening, I'm sorry. Just can't support them. 1-833-401-1440. Penner's Pancake says, Connor, people are panicking way too early here. Yes, the right side is not ideal, but that will not be the decor that starts in the playoffs. Plus, I think we'll be pleasantly surprised by both Emberson and Stetcher. Thanks, Penner's Pancakes. Yeah, I mean, I think that as it might just kind of be Oilers fans' default setting as it has been, just thinking of the worst case scenario. The decade of darkness, I think it did some harm to a lot of us, and it really brought us down. I want to wait and see. Stetcher played a lot of hockey in his career. We'll see how it pans out going into this season. What you've done in the past doesn't really matter. What have you done for me lately, and what can you do for us? And then Emerson. I mean, we'll get the scouting report with Curtis Pashelka and see what he thought about him and his short time with the San Jose Sharks. We know defense is probably his strong suit. I had a text come in earlier on in the day talking about how he saw a highlight of Nathan MacKinnon running him over. That's Nathan MacKinnon. Nathan MacKinnon does that to a lot of people. So I don't know how much stock we'll put into one single play. But yeah, it's going to be a wait and see type approach to this upcoming season for the Edmonton Oilers. The decisions have been made. There's nothing they can do about it right now. Just under $1 million cap space. And we know that if they continue down that road at the trade deadline, it could be about $4.4 million. So we'll have to get there, see who is available, see what the Oilers want to do in terms of giving up some of their draft picks, maybe a prospect, although the prospect pool is shrinking. They don't have a first-round pick next year. You did get 2/3 and a second from the St. Louis Blues in those offer sheets, but one of those is not coming until 2028. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be touch and go, see who's available. But, I think the Edmonton Oilers not in a state of panicking right now because they still have Connor McDavid. You still got Leon Draisaitl. You still have some very good players. If Evan Bouchard and Matthias Ekholm can continue in what they were doing in the playoffs and build off that, that's going to be a good sign. We'll wait and see if they can do that for an extended period of time. But I think it's a little bit too early to totally panic about this team's blue line and wait and see what happens once it actually gets going. Tiger says, "Hey guys, great show so far. Thank you. We're 7 minutes in, but that's a good start. I'm just wondering, is this first overall, is this CC first overall that he gets to play with?" Third CC. Tiger, that might be voice to text. You want to send that again? We would appreciate it. Lance says, "Don't sleep on the Raiders." Braden has a text coming in here. Guys, I think as of today, the Oilers have a bottom 10 defense. You can't start the season this way. Yeah, Braden, I'm not going to disagree with you. I mean, you have 4 NHL defensemen, right? Bouchard and Ekholm, that pairing should be fine. Darnell Nurse, yes, the contract is a little higher than you prefer, but he's an NHL defenseman, as is Brett Kulak. It's going to be the right side of the bottom 2 pairings that there's going to be question marks. And we're not going to know until we see it out there. Chris Knobloch has familiarity with Emerson, right? We know that they were on the same squad out in Hartford in the AHL. Does that translate to the NHL? No. I mean, there's no Connor McDavids. There's no Nathan MacKinnons in the AHL right now. So it's going to be a step up. But at the same time, I mean, maybe the Oilers, to begin the season, you're kind of sheltering him, just kind of see what he can do. We'll probably find out in the preseason, if we're being totally honest. He'll get top pairing minutes, and you'll get a bit of a grasp on it, who he's going up against. Maybe you're playing him in those road games, sending him to opposing cities where you're going to take on the best players just to throw him right into the fire and see what he can do. We'll learn quickly. But I do agree with you. I think if you're looking at this grouping as a whole, bottom 10, I don't disagree. I think that's fair. And then we'll see, once they put the pads on and get going here, how it actually looks. Farm Team says cow pie greater than raisin pie. That is a thought. Gord Oil Stetcher's a D-man. Don't kid yourself. They have 5. Yeah, hey, I mean, we'll see exactly what he can do this season. But I don't disagree with you. I think I can throw Stetcher in there. We saw Emerson play 30 games. I don't know if that's quite what you want to see. Especially, where will it be in the lineup? Is it going to be third pairing, second pairing? I guess that kind of depends once they get to the season. But Gord Oil, I'm not going to disagree with you on that one. Propane P. Like it or hate it, the SEC will always get preferential treatment as long as they have the premier football teams in the country. Disingenuous to the sport. Come on, it's judged on a playoff system. How much disingenuous do you want to get? Declan, you arguing about college football in the text line again?
Well, a healthy debate. I wouldn't call it an argument. And yeah, Propane P is making a lot of points I do agree with. I give him that credit. But, this is just going back to, we've talked about it, Connor, FSU versus Bama last year. It gets my blood boiling, gets the blood pressure up. So got to go about it and defend the Seminoles anytime the situation comes up, which is crazy because I hated Jameis Winston. I hated the Seminoles, but I did think they were screwed over last year. So got to defend their honor.
Yeah. Well, hey, if the quarterback doesn't get hurt, maybe it changes a little bit. Maybe that weighed into the voters' minds.
I can't talk about this anymore.
Okay. Well,
no. Listen. You're absolutely right. That plays a factor. a lot of contributing factors, though. That's all. So I'll leave it at that. And I'll let you get back into your opening segment. Otherwise, I would be talking for 40 minutes, holding you and Donovan away with golf clubs to get my points across.
We will put that on the side burner. We're going to have a college football guest in the next couple of days here. So maybe we won't actually live in the past and we'll go forward. But I like this new playoff system college football is doing, Declan. And yay, your Seminoles will get their chance.
Not my Seminoles.
I'm sorry. They're your team now.
I don't want that. I don't
Oregon
know.
is you're done with Oregon. You're a Knowles guy. You're a Florida man now.
No, I could never be. I really don't like Florida State. I don't know what it is. I never liked Jameis Winston. I didn't like Jimbo as a coach, but I just objectively felt they got screwed over. And the one thing I'll say about this system is, I think I've talked about it a little bit, but 12, maybe just a little too many. I wouldn't mind 8.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to find out. Maybe those bottom couple teams that get in doesn't go very well, and maybe they want to make that change down the road. But I'm here for it. If we get a bit of an upset here and there, and that team, that smaller conference school can get in that went on a great run, Declan, I mean, I think everyone's going to enjoy it when we get there. The more football games, the better, especially when we're getting down the stretch and it's playoff time. I think it's a moneymaker for sure, and I'm going to enjoy it thoroughly. Brett from Stoney says, hate Jameis Winston? Yeah, I mean, in college, I could see why people would have hated him. He's been pretty interesting as a professional, but in college, there were some things that might make you hate him.
Yeah, like I like him as a pro. I think he is awesome. 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. He's just so goofy. He's so funny. But in the college game, he didn't have a lot of redeemable qualities.
Soggy corpse. We got a long one here. I think we all need to trust management for the first time forever. They got us to the Cup final. I think they will do it again as long as the main core is still here. I love this team, and I love everyone that we kept. Anyone who left made a mistake. That's how we got to look at it. Soggy corpse. Yeah, I mean, there's some management that lingered around. Jeff Jackson, of course, but it is a new GM, so there are some changes. Ken Holland and his staff are gone. All 4 of his first-round picks are gone. Some of the guys that he brought in are gone, but I get what you're saying. They've got an elite core. You got to fill the pieces around it. Any great team in the NHL that has had postseason success, and I'll use the example of the winners, you go to the Penguins, the Blackhawks, they were able to keep their core and fill in the pieces around them. So this is just the challenges that do have to happen for a team like the Oilers, especially when you do have to pay some of your superstars. Deanocracy said it's CC's 5th teammate that was drafted first overall. Matthews, Crosby, McDavid, Nuge, and now Celebrini. Oh yeah, he knows a thing or two about being around these guys. So Taylor Hall for a long time had like the curse of, or the blessing, I guess it depends on your mindset, of being on the team that gets to pick first overall. Cody Ceci is the guy who plays with these guys. Interesting. Mike says, when do you think Leon Draisaitl will be signed? Do you think the Oilers want to get this done before the season? I say with great confidence that I think he'll be signed before the season. In my opinion, he's going to get into town, and I think they'll sit down and get it signed. Then at the same time, he can do his press conference to discuss it all, and it's set. I wouldn't be too worried about that one right now. Kristen Victoria texting in, guys, if Paul Coffey can make Vinny Desharnais an NHL defenseman, I am confident that he has seen something in Emberson and will only help the other guys looking for the last spot, maybe even into the second pairing. Chris in Victoria. Chris, thanks for tuning in from Victoria. I would agree with you. I think, Paul Coffey, there's got to be something. When Paul Coffey's analyzing your game and he's hyping you up a little bit, you got to start to believe it. He's one of the greatest to ever lace up the skates. He gets out there. He's telling you that you can do things out there. You do it. I know Gregor's kind of told the story of Coffey showing film of players like, oh, here's Kulak making an outlet pass. Here's Vinny Desharnais doing it. They can all do it. Get the confidence to do so in the game, and it'll go a long way. And I think Paul Coffey helps with that. Tiger reiterating, the defenseman to San Jose gets to play with his 3rd first overall draft pick. Yeah, but as Deanocracy said, it's 5 actually, which is pretty crazy. There's a time where you could almost do that on the Edmonton Oilers with Taylor Hall, Nuge, and Yakupov and McDavid. If they were all there at the same time, you would have had 4. How crazy would that be on one squad? John says, guys, I wonder if the Oilers have thought about the fact that getting rid of Bouchard's friends, Fogle, McLeod, and Holloway make contract negotiations more difficult. Jonathan, maybe. I mean, is he going to say, I want to go to Buffalo and join the boys? I want to go to Los Angeles. Well, that might be nice. I want to go to St. Louis. I don't think so. I think he'd be happy to play in Edmonton. Still restricted, right? So he can't just leave on a free agency. It could make things more difficult, but I really don't think so. I think that'll make sure he stays here. Stetcher is an NHL D-man. He hasn't played below the NHL since 16-17. Yeah, I probably should have thrown his name in there. 4 for sure. Then you got Stetcher. He's an NHL defenseman. You guys are right. You swayed me. Not that I really disagreed with it in the first place. I just left his name off. CJ EDM says, my Ravens are taking it all this year, boys. Hashtag Ravens flock. Yeah, they got a good team. Maybe we'll head to the AFC North. The Steelers we've discussed on the show already. We'd love to talk about the Browns. Speaking of Jameis Winston. They also got the Bengals there. Joe Burrow. What's he going to do this season? Ravens. Yeah, maybe we'll take a look to maybe head out to Baltimore in the next coming weeks. I know Deanocracy would like that as well. And then final text here, Brett from Stoney. We should sign Yak to a PTO. Man, I just wonder. I wonder what he'd be thinking about if he made that phone call. It won't happen, but it's fun to think about if he just reached that status that we thought he could have when he was drafted. First overall, I watched that draft in a sports book in Las Vegas with some Islanders fans. We said, wow, Yakupov's going to be a stud. And then they drafted Griffin Reinhart, and I said, oh, you guys got a good one there. And then we all went our separate ways, and we were all wrong. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some San Jose Sharks with Curtis Pashelka of the Bay Area News Group. We're going to head out to Vancouver. We're going to talk a bunch of NFL markets and Blue Jays, and Wanye Gretz will join us as well. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, as well as the Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook channels, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
For Arcelli hockey fans, your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You don't work for GMC, but it's kind of like you do, because you pay what we pay. GMC employee pricing is on now on all 2024 GMC Sierra half-tons and Hummers. Oh, but at Wolf GMC Buick, it's even better. Get GMC employee pricing on every in-stock 2024 GMC. If it's new and a 2024 and it has that beautiful GMC logo on it, then it's GMC employee priced. Pay what we pay, but only until August 26th. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now and see the over 200 GMCs in stock.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
You see us working on the roads. You see us working in neighborhoods throughout Edmonton and area. Well, what are we doing? We are GS Construction, and we're moving, upgrading, and repairing all of that underground infrastructure so that other work can go on. Things like maintaining water, wastewater, and stormwater draining services. Things you may take for granted, but definitely need. For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community. Find out more by going to gsconstruction.ca.
Bacon or sausage and egg McMuffin? It's a delicious dilemma. But what if you didn't have to choose? The Mighty McMuffin is back with bacon and sausage. Mighty McMuffin, mighty impressive. For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada.
So you've decided you want to start hiking. Nobody would say, I'll just wear my kids' flip-flops until I have more experience. The first thing you do is buy the right shoe size and style to fit you. Same with golf. You can't just buy clubs off the rack. They won't be the right size or style for you. Only Fitted Golf works with you to identify your swing style and then matches your clubs exactly to that swing. Check out our Instagram and YouTube channel to see the success others have with clubs fit to their swing. Fitted Golf, where we continue to prove it's your clubs.
Modern Air and Water is your source for AC, furnace, duct cleaning, and water purification systems. Get a 12-year parts and labor warranty and save up to $2,500 on the complete new system. Contact your Lennox Premier dealer at modernairwater.com.
The road lays ahead. Your potential destinations are endless. Volvo Cars Edmonton gives you choice to match. Right now, lease a new 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers, or save $7,500 on all new 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide how to move forward, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. 1205 101 Street Southwest.
The red hot summer savings continue with Fairways to Heaven. Join us as we tee off at Westlock Golf Club, an 18-hole championship course like no other. The front nine features large, undulating greens and wider fairways, while the back nine offers a challenging, more traditional style with tighter fairways and smaller greens. On Monday, August 26th, a twosome can play Westlock for only $70 with Power Cart. That's right, just $70 for you and a friend with cart. Plus, there's still time for everyone to enter this season's grand prize draw for a $1,500 prepaid Visa from the Golf Cart people. For details and to reserve your tee time at Westlock, start here. K97fairways.ca. Fairways to heaven.
You see in there, make sure you give this video a like. That'll help us out long term here. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, the Lotto 649 is going down. The gold ball. Could it happen? Only one way to find out. And you make sure you get in on it. I got in on the Lotto Max last night, Wanye. I did. No, I did not win. If I won, do you think I'd be here?
I do.
I would have to be.
I think you would. I think the only difference would be that your hat would be made of platinum. But I think you'd be like, you know what I want to talk about now that I'm a trillionaire? The Elks coaching change or whatever it is of the day. I think you're happy here.
I would definitely be here. I wouldn't tell you guys, but as the meme goes, there would be signs.
Diamond shoes.
I also got in on the Lotto Max last night and also did not win. I haven't checked my tickets yet, but I saw the ticket was sold in Ontario.
If you won the Lotto, Declan, you would move somewhere really off grid and you would say, I don't need society at all. And it would be 30 years of living in the middle of nowhere before you realize the folly of your ways.
That would
say, I wish I could go back to before I won the Lotto.
That'd be the second thing I do. The first thing I do, I'm buying Wanye Enterprises and you're gone.
Wow.
You're
incredible.
out of there.
Finally, an exit strategy.
It's Declan Enterprises.
Good
now.
day.
Yeah. But I'm buying it for bottom dollar.
Fantastic. Well, all you have to do is manufacture a scandal and I'm out.
That could be done.
It's quickly done in this day and age.
We're going to go around the NHL right now, brought to you by McDonald's. When everything is going up in prices, McDonald's has lowered theirs. Premium roasted coffee. All sizes are cheaper and as small as just $1. Only at McDonald's. And if you get the rewards app, you pick up those points and you can get one for free eventually. Got to get the rewards app, Wanye. That's where it's at. So we're going to talk some San Jose Sharks. Curtis Pashelka of the Bay Area News Group covers the Sharks and has done so for a long time. Joins us. Curtis, how are you doing today?
Doing well, guys. How are you?
Doing really good. We're inching closer and closer to hockey season. And, lots to get to. Of course, the Oilers and the San Jose Sharks making a trade. And, some people might have looked at it as a way to get rid of Cody Cece's contract and, salary off the books. But they do acquire a defenseman in Ty Emberson, who appeared in 30 games last season with San Jose, had a goal, 9 helpers, -4, 6 penalty minutes. And from what we know about him from his time, at least at the AHL, pretty solid defender on the back end here. If you were giving us a little bit of a scouting report on what you saw in those 30 games, what did you think about Ty Emberson?
Well, maybe a little bit of an incomplete type grade. I mean, he was a waiver claim from the Sharks off the New York Rangers, just before the season started, and kind of had to bide his time a little bit to sort of get into the lineup. Obviously the Sharks got off to a really terrible start last season, and found his way into the lineup and was seemingly getting more comfortable, getting more confidence, and then, he ran into some injury trouble. I think he was back in New York at the Madison Square Garden. Really, he was ready to play against his former team, and he got injured in pregame warmups. And that was kind of the start of kind of a frustrating season, second half of the season for him in terms of some injury trouble. So right before that, he was playing really well for the Sharks. He seemed to be kind of fitting into what they wanted to do, and then ran into some injury trouble and had a tough time with that throughout the rest of the season. So they re-signed, Ty to a 1-year deal last month. He was kind of saying, well, we'll see what happens this upcoming month. I mean, I think this upcoming season, a guy that has a lot of upside, but we just haven't quite seen it yet. So kind of curious to see how he performs with the Oilers, because I think there's more there to his game than what he showed maybe last year when he had to sit out for quite a few games.
Did you see him get any times on the penalty kill? I'm assuming no power play, but any time on the PK?
Yeah, a little bit. That was sort of a fluctuating kind of unit all season long. But yeah, he played a little bit there. He played a little bit on the top pair with Mario Ferraro at times last year, but kind of was used in that role. And so I mean that was kind of part of his repertoire, I guess you could say. So yeah, I mean I think that's an area I think he can kind of continue to grow as he plays finds a new home with the Oilers here.
Curtis Pashelka, the Bay Area News Group, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in, talking about the San Jose Sharks. And, of course, they do bring in Cody Ceci and get a draft pick as well. Now, Cody Ceci, we've seen him in Edmonton, proved to be a very fine NHL player, had some detractors here, which is some of the plays that he made. But where do you expect him to fit into the San Jose Sharks lineup this season?
I would tend to think he's going to be somewhere in one of the top two pairs. There's a little bit of a kind of some change on the back end for San Jose. Obviously, they brought in Jake Wallman earlier in the summer, kind of see where he fits in. But you bring in guys you still have guys like Mario Ferraro. They hope to have a healthy Matt Bang back with the team this year. Guys like Henry Thrun on the left side. So kind of the right side kind of looks like with Cody, you've also got a couple other players kind of on that right side there too, and so kind of wait and see. But I would tend to think he's going to be a guy who's going to kind of average maybe the same amount of minutes he did last year with Edmonton, maybe about 18 to 20 minutes a game, and figure to be one of the first guys used on the PKs. He was with the Oilers last year as well.
Yeah, good guy to have in the room, especially with some of the young players that they will have. Do you think he's someone that you would like to keep beyond this season, or could it be a candidate to be moved at the trade deadline?
I would tend to think he's a candidate to be moved at the deadline, but you never know. I mean, the Sharks are going to have some decisions to make on a few guys this year. Jan Ruda is a unrestricted free agent next summer, or is set to become a unrestricted free agent next summer. So he's a guy. I mean, I think Mario Ferraro is signed for one more year past this upcoming season. So does he get moved? I mean, you're going to have to need some veteran presences back there, and certainly he's a guy. If Cody's a guy could if he's open to signing with San Jose, maybe that's an option for Mike Grier going forward, and keeping a guy like him just to have that sort of veteran presence back there as well. But we'll see. I tend to think this is a move that, along with the third rounder they got from the Oilers in this deal, that they'll be able to collect another asset as the trade deadline nears, next spring, and bring in either another draft pick or another little prospect to add to their collection so far.
Now, Curtis, obviously this offseason kind of a big deal. The team drafting Macklin Celebrini first overall out of Boston University, the number one overall pick. He's had some hype. I mean, we knew he was going number one overall for quite some time now. What's the excitement level around the fan base for this upcoming year with Celebrini, probably getting to get heavy minutes there with that Sharks team?
Yeah, it's probably the most excited that the fan base has been since 2019. Really, the last year they made the playoffs, and certainly he's a guy who figures to check a lot of boxes for this Sharks team this year. We'll see where he plays. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be a top line center right away, but his compete level, his two-way play, his headiness, his commitment to fitness, and just a lot of different things that he's going to provide for this team. And there's going to be some rough moments, obviously. As a rookie, 18 years old, there's going to be some bumps in the road here, but he's a guy who projects long term to be a real leader for this team on and off the ice. And There's a lot of fan base excitement, among the fans this year for him, and for a guy like Will Smith who just turned pro as well. You figure those two guys are going to be your 1-2 centers down the middle for years to come, and there's some light at the end of the tunnel here for Sharks fans. Certainly, there's going to be some more growing pains here next season, and maybe the year after that. But I don't think the Sharks want to be in a rebuilding situation for too much longer. I think they see themselves as being a team that's on the way up, and maybe even being a playoff contender as soon as next season or the year after that.
Curtis Pashelka joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show, talking Sharks of San Jose. And you mentioned Will Smith, the Boston College, maybe rival of Max Celebrini, previously, now teammates. They're going to be certainly must-watch night in, night out. Quentin Musty was a guy the team drafted 26th overall in the same draft as Will Smith. Had a very good year with Sudbury. Any chance we see him in a Sharks uniform next year, or do you think he's back to junior?
I tend to think he's going to be back in junior, this upcoming season. Just not a ton of room on the Sharks roster in terms of availability for forward. We'll see. I mean, maybe there's some injury trouble, and Quentin comes out and has an amazing camp, and maybe earns that sort of 9-game audition, to start the season to maybe give him another chance to show what he can do here. But I tend to think, just with some of the additions the Sharks have made this offseason, particularly their depth, that would kind of rule out Musty from joining the Sharks this season. But we'll see. That's what training camp is for, and they've got the development camp the rookie camp just before that. They're in a rookie face-off tournament with a lot of teams on the West Coast here. So we'll see how that goes. You never know. You'd like to see him have a healthy camp, full camp, and see what he can do. And the Sharks will gauge kind of what's best for his future at that point, I guess.
Well, Curtis, really appreciate coming on the show today, giving us a little rundown on the news for the Oilers and a team to watch in this upcoming season with the San Jose Sharks and their young talents. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we can get you on again closer to the season.
Yeah, anytime, guys. You bet.
There you go. That is Curtis Pashelka, covers the Sharks with the Bay Area News Group. Wanye, feels like some of these pieces, I'm having a little bit of the flashback to the Hope era Oilers. Young, talented players, first overall, even some second-round picks.
In San Jose?
In San Jose.
No.
I don't know how it's going to work out for them. Wish them nothing but the best. But there's going to be some long stretches of this upcoming season, I think, down in San Jose.
I'm fortunate enough to have been to a game in San Jose. And a lot of Sharks fans are Canadian expats. And early on, they're like, this is amazing. Everything's teal. Like, it was exciting. Yeah. Remember those old Sharks? Sharks fans now are a weird breed because the Sharks were so good for so long that unless they're a good team, there is nobody going to games.
Yeah.
Because they were spoiled early on, right?
It was funny. It's like they haven't had anything to really be excited about probably since 2019.
Yeah.
That's not even that long ago.
Until you realize it was. That's 4 seasons ago.
You entered the decade of darkness.
But that's 40% of the decade of darkness. And I don't even think they've hit rock bottom yet.
Really?
Well, I don't know, man. Like, I suppose they hit rock bottom and that they came in 32nd last year, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they got the first overall pick,
Do you think
they got a guy named Will Smith?
Wow, that's cool.
That merch is going to sell itself.
Well, they could do a lot with that.
Yeah.
Or not, because maybe Will Smith has every entertainment lawyer in LA on retainer.
It's
and
possible.
The minute he saw that the Sharks drafted a guy with his name, he was like, get ready.
Copyright, getting jiggy with it.
Do you think that GM Mike Greer, former Oiler, all around beauty by all standards, he's pretty reliant on the NCAA, isn't he? He's trying to build through almost like an NCAA program team type of thing out there.
Yeah, well, his first 2 picks were NCAA, but then his following second round picks have been OHL. So I think you got to go all over the place. Then I was looking, and I think his third pick is usually Europe.
He had a lot of staff NCAA guys, I think.
I would assume so. Yeah. Some former Oilers in there, some old teammates.
Do you think? Like, why do you think the Sharks are bad? Do you think there's a problem with his approach, or just they're at that cycle in a franchise where you got to start again because the cupboard's bare and Joe Thornton retired? And
yeah, I mean, they kind of lost everyone. Like they were so good for so long.
Yeah.
Like, and they were so close, but they couldn't win a Stanley Cup. Thornton, Marlowe, remember Chichu for a year?
EK 6'5".
Yeah. Like
Where did it all go
Burns.
wrong? Or did it go wrong? I mean, I suppose if you don't win the cup, you can still be considered a good franchise.
I mean, they had a lot of success, and you talked about it. Like that fan support there, business-wise, that was a sold-out barn.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was a hot spot in the NHL. I don't know if they had the most fans, but they had enough to sell at the rink every night.
They had enough of a Canadian expat base, they said. I was talking to a guy about it one time at the game, and he just said, I was like, people love the Sharks? How does this work? And he's like, oh, yeah. There's people in San Jose who love the Sharks because when they first got here, they were on their own, right?
Yeah.
Hockey in California really wasn't the same way, but the city really embraced them. The city of San Jose. They have a little street there, and they have like Sharks bunting between all the little bars and stuff. It's cool. I like it when Americans or non-traditional markets embrace the game. I always feel proud of hockey and proud of hockey fans.
I went down to Tampa. This would have been the year after they won the cup. It was awesome. Like the fans, they're I'm sure it's gotten better, but they didn't know the rules.
Yeah.
They were like, it'd be offside and they'd boo.
Sure.
But they were so energetic. So
They're
yeah,
there.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Embracing the game. Montana to Rice says, don't forget Danny Heatley, 50 goals.
Unbelievable.
All-star. Joe Thornton, Pavelski, Couture, Thomas Hurdle, Owen Nolan, one of my faves back in the day. Never forget him pointing top shelf in the All-Star game and burying it. One of the best All-Star uniforms they had.
I was trying to think, who's the initial... Remember when they came out through the shark head and they were all teal?
That was unbelievable.
Young Wanye was tripping. I'd never even seen that color. And then suddenly it was everywhere. It was like the Sharks had invented their own color.
And then when they went on like with the all-black jersey with
yeah.
a hint of teal, good look.
Coming out with the Shark's mouth.
Yeah, that was always cool.
Very cool. And then who's the first goalie? Was it Jeff Hackett? And he had the tooth mask. Back in the day, the goalies' helmets had a lot to do as a kid with what teams were good and bad. And as I recall, Jeff Hackett had a very, very cool Sharks mask.
I'm thinking of Arturs Urbe when I think San Jose Sharks.
Oh, with the old school Jofa.
Yeah.
The birdcage front.
So Jeff Hackett, first season, did play the most games, appeared in 42.
How's that helmet looking?
I have like this
Am I imagining?
old Word document.
Oh,
I can't
dear.
even
I
tell.
see. You're not looking on the internet?
Well, it is the internet, but
Oh.
it appears to be a website from 1992. So
Jeff Hackett fans are like, what? Somebody's Googling. There's an alarm going off at HQ.
who's searching hockey goalies? But yeah, the Sharks mask, they got potential with those ones.
They had good branding, was my point. They had their poop in a group before they hit the ice.
Who had the best goalie mask of all time? Brian Hayward is the Shark mask.
That's who it was.
That's the
Brian
one.
Hayward. Man, he used to play for the Habs. I remember that guy.
Craig and Red, you're texting that in just now, actually. But
Thank
yeah,
you, Craig.
We're
going in the Wayback Machine.
Who's the best goalie helmet you've ever seen?
The Cujo one.
The one with like the oil, looked like an egg was splattering. That
Well,
one?
remember, so he was in St. Louis and he had the Cujo mask. And then when he came to Edmonton, he got the Edmonton version of the Cujo mask. And I
Yeah.
was heavy into goaltending at the time. That was pretty exciting. Eddie the Eagle.
He was sick because he would change it team to team, but always kept the Eagles.
Well,
in
his
it.
Chicago, his OG mask, like with the original eagle on the side, that was incredible.
Yeah, Belfour was great. The funniest one was Dominic Hasek. Just plop the team logo on the side of his bucket.
The OG.
Good. Yeah. Let us know. 1-833-401-1440. Best goalie mask.
Do kids still stare at hockey cards like we used to when we were little? Did you stare at hockey cards like I used to when I was little?
I'm thinking they do, but now it's like, visually, this does not stimulate me like my iPad. And then they go back to the iPad.
I can remember back in the day, like getting out the binders, Connor, and just staring at the cards. They being like, and then reading the back and be
Yeah.
like, so those are Cujo's stats. And then going back to the front, staring some more.
That's how we got into media and became stat nerds, by looking at the back of hockey cards. Probably was part of it.
For me, I could spend hours looking at hockey cards.
Let us know. 1-833-401-1440. Best goalie mask of all time. We'll get to those when we come back here. It is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. You're also watching on Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson. Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Experience more at the Edmonton
Why?
Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like jobs. the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Jonathan and Murray are friends.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Except when they talk about which stadium is more fun in the summer.
Dude, Commonwealth has Elks Fan Park. Tailgating at its finest.
But it can't compare to the old ballpark in the River Valley. Riverhawks games are electric. But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wilhawk Beef Jerky.
It's the only thing everyone can agree on. So, pick some up for your summer pregame snack.
Wilhawk Beef Jerky, because you don't win friends with salad.
Get a great night's sleep during the final weekend of the Bricks Summer Sleep Event. Take up to 50% off mattresses, up to $1,200 off sleeper sectionals, and buy more, save more, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, shop amazing deals in other departments, like up to 20% off outdoor furniture and up to 25% off home entertainment furniture and fireplaces. You won't want to sleep through these fantastic prices. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From freshwater to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution experts.
Visit movewater.ca today.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Anything that's exposed to the elements or has moving parts needs regular maintenance. And when you consider an RV, well, it falls into both categories. Lots of moving parts and sitting out all the time, which is why we hire the best RV technicians in Alberta to come work here at our new, bigger store in Leduc.
Noble has giant indoor service space that can hold the biggest RVs in the world.
That's right, Bob. The vast majority of our indoor space at Noble is dedicated to service and repair. You spend the summer in the great outdoors, and we spend the winter doing scheduled maintenance, so you're ready to go next season.
Sounds like a year-round thing, Rick.
That's it exactly, Bob. Our techs are the most highly experienced men and women in the business. We're solving problems and creating solutions every day. Whatever your used RV needs, our service team has seen it before and knows exactly what to do.
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
We got Declan Kruger and Donovan Paulson with you here at the EWEL Studios in West Edmonton Mall. EWEL Studio, where the real power play is to shop at ewel.ca for all your electrical needs. Online 24/7, ewel.ca is your partner in power. Wanye, we had thrown it out there just talking about some of the best goalie masks in honor of the San Jose Sharks and some of the creative things they were able to do with their masks. Montana to Rice says Curtis Joseph had the best mask, Belfour second, Eddie the Eagle. Few people really liking that one. Todd the Sign God says Gary Cheevers, and he sends in the mask. Yes, the old school mask with just the stitches all over. Wherever you would have been hit by a puck, you got to put stitches.
Disgusting. Wasn't that what, like everywhere? Yeah. Wherever he got hit by a puck, he put stitches on his mask.
I thought that's what it was. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought that was the rumor.
Can you imagine when word got out among goalies? Like, what was the first mask made out of, though? Like leather? It wasn't particularly. Like,
probably with like plastic inside of it or something.
Wouldn't you have felt silly that you weren't wearing a mask the whole time?
Well, I feel like that way about a helmet now.
But if you're a goalie, like a lot of players in those days didn't raise the puck, did they? It was just getting tipped a lot, right? Isn't that true, though? I thought I heard that like back in the day when the goalies didn't wear masks, it wasn't as common to raise the puck.
That would make sense. The flat sticks of that nature, yeah. Although you can rip a wicked backhand with the flat stick.
Oh, yeah. Look at Leon. That thing's a paddle. God.
Text coming in here, 1-833-401-1440. Best goalie mask of all time, Northside Lou. Gilles Gratton. Looking at that one right now, yeah, looked like it'd be fitting for a Florida Panther. Like Jean Van Wiesbroek could probably wear one of those. Kind of a good mask with that one. Murray Batterman had the best mask ever. No name on that one. Please send us a text for your Murray Batterman goaltender mask. Okay, this is kind of interesting. Playing for the Chicago Blackhawks. Kind of creepy, kind of spooky. I don't even know how to describe it. But it's the old school Gary Shivers type mask, not the new modern ones that we're seeing right now.
Do you remember, Connor? Now I'm thinking about Cujo. Were you an Oilers fan when Cujo came to town, or were you too little?
No, I was a big fan.
You're in?
Absolutely.
Do you remember when they had Cujo and Bill Ranford before he was traded? Do you remember that brief window in time when the Oilers suddenly had both of the best goalies? The old Bill Ranford mask of that era was awesome.
Yeah. I'll have to go take a look at that one.
Big Bill Ranford mask fan.
Bill was sick. Well, we've talked about it already. The kick saves with Bill. 2-pad stack.
Oh,
unbelievable.
Mask, though. Mask game.
Mask game is very good. Inside sandwiches. We'll talking goalies. When Cam Ward had those mountains coming off the ice on his pads, that was sick too. Yeah, the whole goalie setup can be cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to pump Cam Ward's tire if it's cool with everybody, because I remember the year 2006 and how it all ended. I'm going to pump Cam Ward, Connor.
On this
Why don't
show,
we just cheer for the Hurricanes?
We can't just live in it forever.
We will live in it forever.
We must let it go.
Part of me died, and part of me was frozen in time that day, Connor, and the two fight it out
for eternity. Rod texting in, first of all, I'm a diehard Oilers fan, so I don't want to make that more clear. But I love some of Markstrom masks, especially the Mike Vernon one from Rod. Yeah, Markstrom actually, he's got those cool ones when you can actually, he has like the ears painted on where the ears are, and then it's all taken care of up front with like an old school type looking mask. He got some good ones. The lava one in Calgary.
I like that he gave the preamble. He's an Oilers fan.
Yeah.
Good work. You followed the G code on that.
He respects the art though.
Yeah.
Rod. Gary Cheevers, another one. Honest Ed, can anything beat Gary Cheevers? No, a lot of people seem to think that is not the case. Under the so good it's bad, Brizgalov's Oilers mask with his kids' not so good drawings on the sides.
We played this game once on the podcast that we have, real life. Gun to your head, Connor, with the terrorists, and they say, we're asking the questions here. Name one good thing about the Flames.
Jerome McGinley.
Well done.
Proud of St. Albert.
I respect Jerome McGinley.
Yeah, we all do. That's the thing. All Oilers fans, text me in if you don't. But I think every Oilers fan's like, gotta respect Iggy.
That may be the only Flame I actually respect.
If the question went the other way to Flames fans, name one nice thing about the Oilers, what would it be?
Surely it's our 5 cups. Secondly, our superior city. Thirdly, our delicious tap water, not the poison they're drinking down there. I can go on and on.
But really, what do you think it would be?
I have no idea.
Gretzky? Gretzky was good.
Wow, one would think, or modern day Oilers fans would say Connor and Leon. You have to begrudgingly admit they're the greatest duo in the league.
Yeah.
You know what? The other thing I would say about the Flames, there's not many things that say that's good. The red of their uniforms is very, very nice. You know the jersey I'm talking about? The extra red jersey they rock sometimes?
Well, you're looking at a guy who's a fan of Blasty, so.
What's Blasty?
That horse.
I don't understand.
Flame horse?
Their logo.
Yeah.
His name's Blasty.
I'm pretty sure it's Blasty.
That can't be true.
Who's to say?
Well, gun to my head, the only thing I would say nice about Calgary is that they're red in the jersey. The Pantone is nice.
It's a nice color. The one-arm bandit, old school Jerry Cheevers. We got Len saying Dryden, Cheevers, Cujo, Plumber Chris, John Van Beesbrook, Florida, Philly, and Isles mask was awesome. It was made by Armadillo.
By an armadillo?
I gotta think Armadillo was a artist, maybe?
That can't be right.
The Burglar says Kripersauce mask flame with the Flames is also pretty legendary. Sending a picture from the Hockey Hall of Fame down the mask aisle. Yeah, that if you go to the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto, the goalie mask era is awesome. I don't know if you've been Wanye, but if you have
Hall of Fame?
Hockey Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, big time.
Goalie masks that they have on presentation. Big outstanding. UC Saros is my favorite modern mask from HB Sandy Beach. Greg Hoggood, Mark Shirt Flames mask, Mike Richter. Yeah, Statue of Liberty on Mike Richter's old helmet. That was a good one.
That's a great one.
Rolly the goalie, gold cage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it gold or is it copper?
I see that era. Yeah. Copper.
Jonathan Albert says, can we see Wanye's face? And then we also had a text on YouTube. Why is Wanye never shown?
Listen.
He's AI.
I'm AI. You can't see hologram Tupac when you're not in the hologram place. And similarly, I don't want to be on camera.
That's fair.
I'm old school. I'm from the olden days of the radio when it meant going on the radio.
Tried and true. Scott says Murray Batterman had the best mask. Another great one is Mike Lewitt when he played with the Cleveland Stingers.
Mike Lewitt?
Mike Lewitt? Who's Mike Lewitt?
Played with the Stingers. He also played for the Blues, if I remember correctly.
My apologies. A little bit before my time as I Google it. Yes. Some of these masks look like they're like V for Vendetta kind of creepy style. Just they're like long and shaped weirdly. But the one with the Stingers, I'm looking at it right now. Mike Lewitt. My apologies for mispronouncing the name.
Oh, that's all right.
Very good. Grant Fuhr had some awesome masks.
He did. He had one of the early masks with the Oilers logo on it. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, I always like Guy Hebert in Anaheim or John Van Briesbroek in Philly.
The Bees?
But my all-time favorite is Tommy Salo's Oilers mask.
Oh, is that had the guy pulling on the stick on the side of it?
The oil guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a sick mask. Tommy Salo, great one.
You know who had a sick mask? Felix Potvin had a sick mask back in the day. Remember the cat?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Even in Toronto, had to like him.
Oh, yeah, I can still respect the game, respect the art.
Did you ever see the video of Strutty in the All-Star game or skills competition? Coming in on a breakaway, tripped and falls into him? Yeah.
Strutty was at the All-Star game?
No, sorry. I butchered that. It was the skills comp for Vancouver.
Ah.
He tried to do a leg kick and then he fell. He went right into Felix.
Strutty's an NHL All-Star and I didn't know that. I feel very, very badly. Yeah, it isn't true.
Mike Smith was my favorite goalie mask, or the goalie from Youngblood, Ontario Momes. Agreeing with you. Well, he said running water. I'm assuming that was about things in Calgary that are nice. Marty Turco always had sick helmets.
Yep.
And a lot of Van Beesbroek cat mask or Hayward shark mask.
Yep.
John Van Briesbroek. Is that it? I was worried about that, and everyone's spelling it different. So just trying to get through his name through this show. He was good, though. Always at the red tape. Ray Emery with Muhammad Ali on it. That was a cool one. Rest in peace, Ray Emery. Martin Gerber's Darth Vader mask. Trevor Kidd always had great masks. And Trevor Kidd always reminded me, like, didn't he have, like, dyed facial hair? Or did I just make that up?
Trevor Kidd. Oh, did he dye blonde?
I thought he did.
He may have.
Gave me, like, Hollywood Hulk Hogan vibes.
That's a look.
You got to pull it off. You got to be the goalie for the Flames or the leader of the NWO to pull that off.
Do you want to hear a Marty Turco story?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I've been debating whether or not I should say it since you said his name, because it's a fairly random player to be mentioning in 2024. When do you find yourself on radio? You can match the two up and look cool. One time, Connor, I was in Dallas and I found myself in Marty Turco's driven limousine with a bunch of people. And I was like, what is this thing? It had a Dallas Stars carpet on it, like Lil Wayne crib shit. Oops, that's a swear word.
Stuff.
I'm like, whose limousine is this? Marty Turco gets in. And I said, sir, what is this wonderful vehicle? He said, ever since I signed a big contract, I got this thing and it drives me everywhere. And it drives whoever else wants to go anywhere. It's kind of like a minibus.
Kind of smart.
It's genius. I have never in my life heard of an athlete doing that. And you know why you never heard of anything with Marty Turco, any scandals, and he was playing in Dallas? It was all handled.
Yeah.
Isn't that smart?
I mean,
he was making big wood back in the day.
A lot of young men in these professional teams have ride services with their team, but to have a custom limo, that's next level.
He had a guy and like he parked the car, he did all the things. Every time I see a professional athlete get in trouble in the off season, I always think of that limo.
Gord Oil, we'll wrap it up here with you. The best thing to come out of Calgary, that's easy. The road to Edmonton. Gord Oil. Keep those texts coming. 1-833-401-1440. Your favorite masks. You know what people are saying? Mike Lewitt is Leon Draisaitl's agent.
Mike Lewitt is Leon Draisaitl's agent. You learn something every day.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
A couple people texting that in. We appreciate it. Tiger, Dave Q.
Is it a good thing if you're an agent and your client signs the maximum contract allowable by law? Is that good in the agency world?
I think that's good.
I think it's a good day in the Liut household.
When we come back, we are going to dive into the world of Major League Baseball. We'll also be hearing from Alex Shapiro, NBC Sports Chicago, talk some Chicago Bears. We got Randy Janda joining us, Vancouver Canucks color analyst. He'll be joining us from Cancun, from the beach. We'll make it quick. We don't want to bug him too much. Rob Demovsky of ESPN covers the Green Bay Packers, and Mark Spector. But right now, after our break, will be Mike Wilner from the Toronto Star and the Deep Left Field podcast. Talk a little Toronto Blue Jays here on the Jason Gregor Show. But first, a Sports 1440 update brought to you by eWell, supplying the city of champions and all of Alberta with great electrical gear since 1976. 40 years now at ewell.ca. Here is Declan Kruger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Over the Orioles 4-3. Games in action right now. Pirates and Rangers tied 0-0 in the bottom of the ninth, and the White Sox and Giants tied 2-2 in the bottom of the sixth. Later on in the day, we'll see the Diamondbacks and Marlins, Twins and Padres, Rockies and Nats, Guardians and Yankees, and of course the Toronto Blue Jays in action taking on the Cincinnati Reds out in Toronto. A 5:07 first pitch for that one. Rodriguez on the mound. Late game today in the MLB will be the Seattle Mariners out in LA taking on the Dodgers. NHL news from earlier today is the Blue Jackets have signed forward Cole Sillinger to a 2-year deal. In total, $4.5 million. The United States have added John Tortorella and David Quinn to the Four Nations Face-Off coaching staff. And in the CFL, Jason Moss, head coach of the Montreal Alouettes, has confirmed that Cody Fajardo will start for the Owls in Week 12 against the Elks. Rough Riders running back A.J. Ouellette is out Thursday versus the Toronto Argonauts, and Red Blacks quarterback Drew Brown with the foot injury still taking the starters' reps. WNBA action at 5:30 p.m. We will see the Phoenix Mercury taking on the Atlanta Dream, and at 7:30 on ESPN, the Minnesota Lynx and Las Vegas Aces. In hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mike Wilner of the Deep Left Field podcast and Alex Shapiro from NBC Sports Chicago. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Rule number 37. Elk Island mosquitoes don't believe in personal space. Keep bug spray ready at all times. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Hey Leduc, it's me, Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy. What you might not know is that I started practicing physio here in Leduc more than 23 years ago. In those years since, I haven't forgotten the kind and welcoming people that trusted me then. It feels great to be back, but I know we have to live up to our promise, and that's to live up to our name. This means bringing a leading edge focus on our environments, technology, communities, and the people who will care for you, like Graham Raymond and Amanda McIsaac, two locals who want to make a difference in your life. We're now open in Leduc. Learn more about us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Bacon or sausage and egg McMuffin? It's a delicious dilemma. But what if you didn't have to choose? The Mighty McMuffin is back with bacon and sausage. Mighty McMuffin, mighty impressive. For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada.
A sale this big only happens once a year. The Fish & Holes annual wall-to-wall sale is on now. 20 to 50% off everything in the store. You heard right, 20 to 50% off everything. 4 days only. Stock up on rods, reels, tackles, sonars, trolling motors, apparel, and well, everything. Sale ends Saturday. Shop early for best selection in-store only. Southside and West End locations.
At Toyota, we understand life's full of winning moments, like plugging in a USB correctly on the first try. Nailed it. We've also designed our award-winning lineup of vehicles to fit seamlessly into your life from the first time you get behind the wheel. It's time for everyday wins. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2024 RAV4 LE all-wheel drive from $96 weekly for 60 months at 6.49% with $3,999 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
PlayAlberta.ca. Use promo code SUMMER with a minimum $5 deposit. You get $50 free play in the casino. PlayAlberta.ca. Make sure to use your game sense. You can also keep those texts coming in here to the eWell inbox, 1-833-401-1440. We are talking best goalie masks. It kind of translates into our next guest. There's a little while where MLB catchers were wearing those goalie masks as well. I don't know if you were doing custom artwork on them, but you had that opportunity. We're getting to our big guest of the day here, brought to you by the JPHL, an academy-style approach for U14, U15, and U18 players with a focus on skill development and education. Learn more at juniorprospectshockeyleague.com. We bring in Mike Wilner, of course, covering the Toronto Blue Jays for a long time with the Toronto Star, also the host of the Deep Left Field podcast. Mike, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Doing all right, thanks. How are you guys?
Oh, doing very good. I really appreciate you joining us on this show. I believe you're down in Cincy for tonight's game. The Jays coming off a big win. We saw the bats flexing a little bit. I got to ask you, though, if you would have had an ability to go back to the start of the season, we're talking August 21st, the Blue Jays, where they're currently sitting. Is this where you would have expected this season to go at the start of the year?
Oh, not at all. And I don't think anybody would have expected them to be in last place and, well under 500 and hopefully hopelessly out of a playoff spot at this point. Just to let you know, we're in Toronto, though. Cincinnati is here.
Oh, sorry.
To wrap up the series. But no, it's been an abysmal season. It's been one of the top 5 most disappointing seasons in club history.
Yeah, you're telling me. I mean, I would not have thought they would have been this bad. I think I had them kind of middle of the division at the start of the season, not the bottom. So things not going very well. The Blue Jays will kick off a series against the Angels tomorrow. The Saturday and Sunday games are going to be heard right here on Sports 1440 radio feed only. Mike, I want to ask you about some of the young players, the prospects on this roster right now. Are there any names that seem to be locks to you that we'll be seeing next season with the big club?
I think Spencer Horwitz is a lock. He's just been wonderful ever since they waited way too long to bring him up and then finally did at the end of the first week of June. I think he's in the top 3 among rookies in the American League in batting average and on base percentage and slugging percentage and walks. And he's done everything they hoped he would. He's been really terrific, and he's, I think, got to be on the team next year. As far as everybody else, I think it's really still up in the air. Will Wagner's making a tremendous first impression for sure. Joey Loperfido seems to be swinging it pretty well now, but he had an 0 for 23 in there. And he's still sort of feeling his way around in the major leagues. I don't know if Yariel Rodriguez, who's starting tonight, has done enough to secure a role in the starting rotation next year. Bowden Francis, the same. He's the American League Player of the Week, and he's had 4 really good starts in a row, but his year's been pretty up and down as well. So, it's a consistent process of evaluation, and you don't want to be, you don't want to put too much into what they do over the last 2.5 months of a lost season. So I'm not sure that there's really anybody here outside of Horwitz that has made you say, okay, well, we don't need to worry about filling that position in the off season. And even with Horwitz, he is a first baseman, so he can handle second base, but he's not that big, scary slugger that you want at first or you want at DH. And I think the Blue Jays still need to really prioritize picking that up in the off season.
Well, yeah, speaking of the offseason, I mean, I hate that we're jumping there already, but when you look at positions of need and where they should be looking to add, what stands out to you?
I mean, there's no issue with looking at the offseason yet, even though only end of August, because that's all you got to look forward to at this point with this team. They need 2 thumpers, at least 2 big, scary bats, 2 guys who are just going to hit a bunch of homers. And I wrote in the Star the other day, and I've talked about it on the podcast as well, that Juan Soto and Anthony Santander are free agents in the offseason. The 2 of them combined have more home runs than every Blue Jay on the active roster put together, except for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And those guys would be the perfect fit for this team. It's going to cost a lot of money. Soto's going to cost more than Vladdy would cost to extend, but he's a generational guy. And, the Yankees have the best 1-2 punch in the game right now, and Soto and Judge. The Blue Jays could have the best 1-2 punch in the game next year with Soto and Guerrero. You add Santander, you add a healthy Bo Bichette to that mix, and all of a sudden your offense is looking much, much, much better. But whether it's those 2 guys or somebody else, you need a big, scary bat at DH and a big, scary bat at either left field or first base.
We're talking Toronto Blue Jays here on the Jason Gregor Show with Mike Wilner of the Toronto Star and the Deep Left Field podcast. You mentioned Bo Bichette there. Great to have him healthy next season if they can, and hopefully forward. But what is the future with Bo in Toronto, and do you expect to see him there long term?
I don't expect to see him here long term. I think that the Blue Jays are in a position where they're really only looking to try to extend one of Guerrero or Bichette, as much as they might talk that good game. I'm not sure Bo wants to stay here long term, but I think that can be fixed if they start to win again and smarten up front office wise. But I'm not sure they're really that interested in maintaining both of them. And I think the major need is to keep Vladdy here for another decade plus. So I think Bichette gets healthy, hopefully plays the last couple of weeks of this season, and he's a part of this thing next year. And if they're a contender, he plays with them through the playoffs. And if not, he gets traded at the deadline next year.
Will Wagner, winning people over in Toronto. What do you think the ceiling is for him?
I hate to put a ceiling on anybody, I think this is a kid who can hit, and he's hit at every level he's played at, and he's hit really, really, really well. and he hasn't looked out of place defensively at second base either. The Astros said they couldn't find a spot for him, but they've got Jose Altuve locked up for a while. I don't know. I mean, look, he hit like 340 with an OPS over 900 in AAA. So the ceiling is as a really, really, really good offensive player, and he's certainly done that job here so far. And, you know, just a little promotion here. He is on the next episode of Deep Left Field. So check that out coming your way tomorrow around lunchtime in your part of the world.
Oh, excellent. I assume wherever you get your podcast from.
Absolutely.
How about Bloss and Class A? Any chance we're going to see them getting into the majors this season?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Class A's already been in the majors with Seattle a little bit. And, you know, September, the roster expands, so not by as much as it used to, but they're going to add a pitcher and a position player. It's difficult to imagine that Class A is not here on September 1st, if not before. They would really like to get a look at what he can do for them. And I think we'll see Jake Bloss. The Blue Jays are going with to be determined as their starting pitcher tomorrow. They're pushing all the starters back a day. I don't think it's going to be Bloss, but it certainly could be Bloss for a little bit of a look. They're being careful with him. He's pitched at 3 levels of the minors and the major leagues this year, and he was just drafted last year, so you don't want to put too much wear and tear on his arm. But I'd be surprised if we didn't see him up here for an outing or two at some point.
Mike, we had a question come in from one of our listeners here, just wondering, are we ever going to see Joey Votto?
I hope so. I mean, it would have been so easy to bring him up for this series against the team he played for 20 years. I mean, it was right there for them. But like my Toronto Star colleague, Rosie DiMano, wrote the other day, this front office never misses the opportunity to do the wrong thing. So, you know, I was kind of hoping he might be here today, but he's not. He's not hitting well in Buffalo, and that needs to be said. But, you know, AAA, what sort of challenge does that present for a Hall of Famer? I'm confident that if he came back up here, he would look at the very least like the guy he looked like the last 2 years, if not like his old self, and be re-energized and recharged. It's unfortunate that we're at the point here in this Blue Jays season where wins don't really matter anymore. And you're not going to bring him up to try to help the team win. You're going to bring him up to try to help, you know, be the young kids be around him and learn and all of that, and to give him a chance to finish up his career in his hometown. I really hope that he do. You know, Stuart Burrow is sitting here being a wonderful energy guy and getting like 2 at-bats a week. You can't tell me that Joey Votto wouldn't be better served doing that and having Baroa playing every day in AAA. So I really hope they do. I'm honestly not sure.
You touched on the friend office there, and I think Jays fans unanimously would say changes might not be too opposed to it. Do we see any changes at the Jays front office this offseason?
I kind of think you have to. I mean, we spoke to Mark Shapiro a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about continuity and stability and how those things are really important. And he's right. But when your continuity is a decade of never being good enough, then that sort of stability and continuity doesn't really work. And, you know, from my perspective, the Blue Jays sort of built around Vlad and Bo, and to an extent, Kevin Biggio, or at the very least, they thought Biggio was going to be a part of things. And the idea was to be good around 2021 and build towards a team that was going to peak in 24 and 25, the last couple of years of Guerrero and Bichette's control. And instead, what we've seen is a team that peaked in 2021 and didn't even make the playoffs that year and has gotten considerably worse every year since. And that, to me, is a complete failure of the front office, and you don't get to keep your job when that happens. And, I think it's pretty elementary, but I'm not especially confident that it's going to happen.
Oh, not what I wanted to hear.
Sorry.
No, it's we need the truth. We need to start accepting it now. Really appreciate this, Mike. Thanks so much for hopping on before the game, and hopefully we can get you on again, maybe to recap the season at some point.
Yeah, happy to come on anytime. Thanks for thinking of me.
There you go. Mike Wilner, the Deep Left Field Podcast, new edition tomorrow around noon. Wherever you get your podcast from, also covering the team for the Toronto Star. You know, we got the Jays game on right now from yesterday. I just saw back-to-back home runs. Horowitz, Kirk. Things are good. Why can't they just do that every game? That would make things a lot easier. In Toronto Blue Jay land, that was our big guest of the day, brought to you by the JPHL. Learn more at juniorprospectshockeyleague.com. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue our tour around the NFL training camps as we'll head out to Chicago, the Windy City, talk to Alex Shapiro about the Bears. You're listening to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Hey, it's Brad McCory here from St. Albert Dodge. Our August month-end blowout is now on. So until Saturday, August 31st, we won't say no to any deal. And here's what we have to offer. 20% off new 2024 Ram 1500s, no payments for 90 days on selected vehicles, and how's this? A brand new Jeep Compass 4x4 for only $37,000. If you're looking for a new vehicle, don't buy until you talk to us. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? Every Friday after 4 p.m., it's 9 and Dine Fridays. Includes golf for two with a power cart at Cattail Crossing and a $50 food voucher at Out of Bounds Restaurant. Only $119.99. Tea times can be booked at cattailcrossing.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You adore your Audi, value your Volkswagen, baby your Beamer. But some of that love fades when repairs take several days and tons of cash for the dealership to do their magic. Let Cochran's Automotive rekindle the flame. They'll professionally repair your import, usually in 1 day. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Honda, and Toyota. Cochran's Automotive will return her to mint condition. Open at 7 a.m. Let Cochran's Automotive repair your automotive air conditioning before things heat up. Cochran's Automotive, 780-452-5001.
You turn on the tap, and water comes out. You press the handle and flush the toilet. Living in our modern world, we sometimes take for granted or don't even think about all of the services and conveniences that are around us every day. But GS Construction does. Right under your feet, there's a whole network of underground infrastructure that needs to be built and maintained in order to have these basic services. GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community for 50 years. Find out more by going to gsconstruction.ca.
Imagine hitting 13 out of 14 fairways from the tee. It can happen. It does happen with a driver created for you by Fitted Golf. We are the only company in Edmonton who fits for all 9 features of each golf club. Amateurs learn to play like amateurs from amateurs. Come work with our professional team of scientists, engineers, and club builders and get fitted with the clubs designed for one golfer. You visit fittedgolf.ca today. Fitted Golf, where we continue to prove it's your clubs.
Mr. Rooter goes on a water slide.
Welcome to the Sky Screamer. Please keep your arms crossed over your...
Oh, don't worry about old Mr. Rooter. I'm the last person you have to worry about clogging this pipe.
Actually, it's for your safety.
This plumbing-themed amusement park is amazing. To see the world from inside a giant pipe, it feels like Honey, I Shrunk the Mr. Rooter. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm ready to be flushed.
For a plumbing good time, slide into the DMs of Mr. Rooter.
Employee pricing is on now at Chevrolet. Right now, get up to $10,500 off select Silverado 1500 High Country Crew Cab models. With an available 6.2-liter V8 engine and standard Chevrolet safety assist, including forward collision alert, getting out of the city and having a nice, quiet day on the beach is easier than ever this season. So relaxing. Ask your Chevrolet advisor for details.
If you've ever restored a classic car or seen one, you smile because you know what it took to get that beauty looking pristine. The same is true for men who restore their hair. Nothing but smiles for miles. Patients from all over Canada travel to see me, Dr. Vance Elliott, to have their hair loss treated and remedied. I've been helping people for 28 years.
Good
My
afternoon.
practice is outfitted with the most innovative and latest hair transplant techniques and technology. And I do it myself. Contact us at drvanceelliott.com.
Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Thank you to everybody who is tuning in, however you are doing so. Also on Twitter. You could be watching on Oilers Nation or X, as well as Sports 1440's Instagram. Everyone on YouTube, I see you. I'm looking right at you. Hit that like button for us. That would do us a solid. And keep those texts coming into the UL inbox, 1-833-401-1440.
You know what I think?
What?
I think we should just call it Twitter. I'm a big Elon Musk fan. Very big. I know it's divisive, but I think he's great. I don't want to call it X.com. Connor, how's that sound? I want to call them tweets, and I want to call it Twitter.
I'm with you. Just rolls off the tongue so much easier.
We got used to it.
We're old dogs. Can't
Very unnecessary. Exactly.
Right now, let's talk a little NFL football with the NFL training camp report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. Need service late at night or on the weekends? You don't need overtime charges. That is how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Very happy to bring in Alex Shapiro of NBC Sports Chicago, covers the Bears. And Alex, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. Thanks so much for having me, fellas.
Yeah, we really appreciate joining us here on the show. And for the Chicago Bears, it's been a really exciting couple months here. And General Manager Ryan Poles, in his tenure with the organization, has done just fantastic work. I think we have to ask you first things first and just get it out of the way. How good has Caleb Williams looked at camp and in the preseason so far?
You know, I think he's actually looked better in the preseason than he has at camp. And that's not to say he hasn't looked good at camp. It's just been, I'd say the offense as a whole has been a little bumpy, but it's kind of what you would expect from an offense that has not only a rookie quarterback, but also a new offensive coordinator installing his system, installing his language, installing his schemes to everybody on that offense. And then again, having that operated by a rookie quarterback, that Bears offense is also going against the Bears defense, which, as we've seen, is really, really good. And I expect them to continue to be really, really good. So we've seen the moments of Caleb Williams hitting Keenan Allen, who got wide open. And we've seen the connections to DJ Moore, and we've seen the connections to Roma Dunze. But then there's also been the false starts, and there have been interceptions, and then there have been athletic PBUs. So I'm not going to lie and say it's like, oh, they're, going to break all these records, and it's unlike anything the world has ever seen before. No, it's been up and down. But you see, most importantly, you see the flashes of brilliance from Caleb Williams, and you see the flashes of the player that they scouted before they drafted him.
Yeah, I mean, just watching some of the highlights, I don't know who you see, but I'm getting flashes of Aaron Rodgers with some Patrick Mahomes in there. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to watch. They will take on Mahomes and the Chiefs tomorrow night in Kansas City at Arrowhead. How many of these starters do you expect to be in the lineup?
Almost none, maybe one or two, depending on like which guys haven't gotten a ton of reps because they've been hurt. But Matt Eberflus has said that the majority of the starters will not play, and that includes Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is not going to play.
Okay, good to know for that one. Looking at that receiver room, you kind of touched on it there. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, and then Keenan Allen from the Chargers. How does that group look as a whole? And can you just address it for one of my producers here? He read on X that Keenan Allen got fat. Is that the case?
No, and I'm so glad he brought that up. I was just recording an episode of our Under Center podcast, and this also came up during our discussion. No, he does not look fat. He does not look slow. Quite the opposite. He looks like a guy who knows how to get open at will and has gotten open at will pretty much throughout training camp. Jalen Johnson has given him some trouble. Jalen Johnson gives everybody trouble, though. That guy's an excellent cornerback. He's absolutely fine. I have zero worries about Keenan Allen's ability to be an effective wide receiver still.
Yeah, you're on video. You can see the little logo here on my sweater. I think he'll be
Oh.
just fine. Keenan Allen is one heck of a player. He'll get open. Roma Dunze and then DJ Moore. That offense is going to be a whole lot of fun to watch. And in the backfield, you get DeAndre Swift coming over from Philadelphia. How does he fit in? And what do you think the balance to be with pass run with, all the weapons you have, but still needing to have an effective run game?
I don't know that they're going to be this run-heavy team. I looked into some of Shane Waldron's offenses that he had with the Seahawks, and I don't think they were ever in the top half of running attempts. But what DeAndre Swift does is he gives them a 3-down back, which they haven't had in some time. Last year, for instance, they needed, third and long situations, obvious pass situations. They would need a guy who was a little bit better pass pro. That's something that Khalil Herbert has struggled with throughout his career. You'd see Roshan Johnson come in and do that. But DeAndre Swift can be there on those passing downs, and I think he adds a little bit of a pass-catching element, and we have seen that. We've seen him make some incredibly athletic catches, both on checkdowns, on little Texas routes or whatever, screens. He's been that guy, and again, we saw that in the preseason game against the Bills, where he's just right there for the dump off, and turns into a 42-yard gain. So I think that's a little bit of an element that he can do, is that all 3 down, like that true bell cow back that the Bears haven't had, for a bit.
Looking at the offensive line, kind of a nice mix. You got some early talent in the draft, and then bringing some names in free agency. As a group, a 5-man unit, how would you rank this offensive line in Chicago?
I think it's going to be better than people expect, and I think every fan base in the NFL thinks their offensive line could be better, because it's just a tough position to play, to have all 5 guys playing as one. But they're young. When you look at Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright on the edges, Tevin Jenkins, is in his 4th year, but experience-wise, he's still a young player because he's been, derailed by injuries. And then you have Nate Davis, who has struggled, but is still getting his sea legs under him after missing a ton of time. And I think Coleman Shelton is going to be a solid center. And I think when it all comes together, they will be an average to above average unit. I don't think that they're going to be a bad unit. And really, that's what's most important. As long as they are giving Caleb Williams enough of a pocket and enough time to go through the progressions, and so far they have. We've seen Caleb Williams been able to navigate the pockets that they create for him, and it's been okay. And I think they'll be just fine.
Joined by Alex Shapiro of NBC Sports Chicago here, talking about the Chicago Bears on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Now, looking on the defensive side of things, some big names popping up. Montez Sweat obviously comes over from the Commanders. Tremaine Edmonds a couple of years ago. Then on the back end, Jalen Johnson, one of the best corners in the league. They've got Kevin Byard. What do you think is the strength of this defense for Chicago?
It's got to be the secondary, right? You look at not just Jalen Johnson. Tyreek Stevenson was an ascending player last year. At the beginning of the year, he struggled, like many other rookie cornerbacks before him. Playing cornerback as a rookie is an extremely difficult thing to do, especially when you're playing opposite Jalen Johnson, and quarterbacks look at Jalen Johnson, they go, no, thank you. And then they look at Tyreek Stevenson, they go, rookie, yeah, I'll try him instead. He got challenged a ton last year, really did a lot of learning on the job, and to me was unrecognizable, like the last 4 weeks compared to the first 4 weeks. So if he continues on that upward trajectory, Kyler Gordon could be the sneaky, like, great player on this defense that nobody talks about as the slot corner. He hits so hard. He plays so fast. He plays so instinctually. He's seemingly everywhere. And then, of course, you spoke about Jalen Johnson. Kevin Byard comes in. It's his first year with the team. He has the ball hawking skills. And then Jaquan Brisker, who has been hurt for almost all of camp, he was actually back today, participating a lot in the team portion of practice. And he looked like he hadn't missed a beat. I mean, run support, he was flashing. He was there to make the stops. I'm putting air quotes on it because they were not wearing pads. So who really knows? But he was there to make the stops. And then he had some rangy PBUs. So, I mean, I don't see a weak link in that secondary, which is kind of crazy because they're all pretty premium positions, especially in the pass happy NFL. It's gonna be tough, I think, to throw on the Chicago Bears.
Alex, I don't know how much truth there is to this, but the social media age we live in, you see a lot of things pop up. And in the offseason, there was talk of, is Matt Eberflus's job on the line? I think Harbaugh, maybe some Bears wanted to see him back in Chicago. But going into year 3, since coming over from the Indianapolis Colts, what have you made of the job that he's done with this team?
I mean, I think he's done a really nice job. People point to the record and be like, how do you keep this guy? He was so terrible and the losing record. And it's like, look at the players he was given. Look at the roster he was dealt. I mean, Ryan Poles came in and the first thing he did was trade away Khalil Mack, who was the best player on the defense at the time. And from there, just continued to tear that roster down to the studs, right? Roquan Smith, gone. Robert Quinn, gone. I could go on and on and on. And they gave a lot of guys prove-it deals to see if they could stick. Not a lot of them did. And in the process, they've built through the draft. And now that Matt Eberflus has a team that is filled with talent instead of bereft of talent, all of a sudden his system looks really good. And all of a sudden the culture looks really great. And I think that they've done a really nice job of, if Poles and Eberflus hand in hand, creating a culture, creating an identity, identifying the players who fit what they want to do. And now we'll see, when rubber hits the road, are the wins going to start coming? They started to turn that corner last year. It looks like, could they be the Detroit Lions, where the Detroit Lions had that big ascension and then all of a sudden they're a few plays away from the Super Bowl? I'm not saying that the Bears are going to, be pushing for a Super Bowl, but they look like. And I think Matt Eberflus deserves some credit for helping the team go from 2022 abysmal to 2024, one of the most intriguing, exciting teams in the NFL.
I guess my final question for you, and you talked with the Lions and the ascension that they've had the last few years and how close they were to going to the Super Bowl. How does this division play out? Because the Lions are strong. You've got the Green Bay Packers who've built a very competitive roster. The Bears, like we said, not too many weaklings there. And then the Minnesota Vikings, I think there's a few holes there and it might be tough. We'll see what Sam Darnold can do. But how do you think the Bears finish in this tough AFC North or NFC North? Sorry.
So I do think the Bears are going to be much improved this year, but I still only have them finishing third because all of a sudden the NFC North, you laid it out. It seems super tough, right? The Lions, you got to imagine they're still the class of the division. They've earned that respect. And then I think the Packers are just maybe one step ahead of where the Bears are at. The Packers didn't really rebuild. They just retooled and were like, oh, hey, Jordan Love is another guy. So, Jordan Love kind of went through last year, his first year starting, what the Bears are going to be going through with Caleb Williams this year. But he had the experience of sitting 3 years on the bench under Aaron Rodgers, learning that same system, learning that same scheme. So just from that standpoint, I think the Packers might still have the edge on the Bears here. But don't count out the Vikings either. They have playmakers. They still have the best wide receiver in football in Justin Jefferson. And Jordan Addison, I know he's dinged up, but when he's healthy, he's phenomenal. And Brian Flores, I think, should be a head coach again based on what he's done on that defense. And the blitzes he's going to dial up, all the exotic looks he's going to dial up, that is going to be tough for a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams. So the Vikings could give the Bears trouble too. But at the end of the day, I think the Bears might finish third in this division.
You know what? Who knows? Third could be a wild card spot in the NFC. We'll wait and see. I'm really looking forward to it. Should be fun to see them take on the Chiefs tomorrow night and then kick the regular season off shortly here. Alex, thanks so much for joining us on the show. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Connor. It's a pleasure.
There you go. Alex Shapiro, NBC Sports, Chicago Bears reporter. Really intrigued by those Chicago Bears. Great uniforms. Hope they can turn it around because that's another fan base similar to the Lions. It's been a while since they've been really competitive, and I think they're definitely trending in the right direction. And Caleb Williams looks like he's going to be an absolute stud. Montana to Rice texts in. Jalen Johnson is the most underrated corner in the NFL. MTR, I know the circle of life for corners in the NFL. Next, he's going to get a lot of hype. Then he's going to get beat in the game a couple plays, and those clips will go viral, and then people will say he sucks. That's the circle. We'll go back to Nnamdi Asomugha.
Then they trade him. Then they say, maybe he'll come back.
Jalen Johnson, you are the next Josh Norman. Declan, I know you're a Josh Norman guy. Come on. Similar arc there.
My favorite player when he was in his prime, but he had the There's never been a better description for Josh Norman than what you just laid out a couple seconds ago.
I feel like that's how it is for everyone in the NFL. It's like he's kind of niche, and then they become popular, and then it becomes popular to hate on them, and then the circle just continues for a new player. That'll be Caleb Williams.
He's got a lot of hype. Though.
It'll be he's it's not USC. He paints his nails. He cries to his mom. And then he'll start making plays, and some people will say, this guy makes plays. And then all of a sudden, we'll get to a point where Bo Nix makes a good throw, and people will say, if Caleb Williams did that, we'd be putting it all over social media.
He cries to his mom?
He lost a game once, and his mom was in the crowd, and he climbed up, and she consoled him. Yeah.
How old is he?
21?
Oh, boy.
That's a knock to some people.
I don't like my quarterbacks crying, Connor. I'm old school.
No tears.
No tears in baseball. That's from A League of Their Own.
Yeah, good movie. Tom Hanks.
Oh, you've seen that?
Oh, I love that
but
movie.
Not The Matrix.
One of those is more in my wheelhouse. Sports.
Very odd.
I'll get to The Matrix one day when you bring me the DVD.
That's Madonna's best movie. A League of Their Own?
Oh.
The Matrix?
The Matrix. I'm like, well, she's in it, then I got to go.
She is. She's in The Matrix.
Low-key, a good cast in A League of Their Own.
Great movie.
Brad texted in 1-833-401-1440. CH, what's your thoughts on Denver announcing Bo Nix as a starting quarterback? He clearly has been the better quarterback for Denver's preseason. Do you think it's too early? He was an older quarterback in his draft. Yeah, maybe Declan wants to get involved in this one as well. Bo Nix, I don't think it's surprising. He's got some okay mobility. Sean Payton clearly has no issue with shorter quarterbacks with the success that he had with Drew Brees with the New Orleans Saints. I think Bo Nix, you were drafted in that position for a reason, and it doesn't hurt that Denver's quarterback room sucks. So, no, I think Bo Nix should be the guy. The stats he put up there in Oregon, Declan, pretty unbelievable. He was very good. Yes, he's a little bit older, but who cares? If he's your quarterback for the next 10 to 12 years, then you're more than happy to draft him a little older than a 21-year-old.
Yeah, Heisman caliber quarterback, like you mentioned. I thought he very well could have been the Heisman winner over Jaden Daniels. Like you said, I think just because of his age, maybe drafted a little higher than you would have expected. But you touched on it and you talked about it. That Denver Broncos quarterback room is so depleted and so terrible that he really seemed like he was the only option. And great collegiate career, was there a little longer than some people would like for a pro-ready quarterback, but played incredibly well his last season at Oregon. I think he was, I'm not going to say he was the right pick 100% for the Denver Broncos, but they needed to do something at quarterback. That room is garbage, and he's going to be the guy.
It is funny, like Brandon and I joke about it a lot in Fantasy Frenzy. Like when the quarterbacks are drafted and they're over 24, we're like, oh my goodness, what an old player. But if you're drafting a guy who's 24 and he plays 14 years, then you got all you can ask out of a pro guy. So if he retires at 37 instead of 35, who cares? He's a little more wise. Maybe he's a little less likely to go party. He went to Oregon, so Oregon's a fun college place to play football. Justin Herbert stayed his senior year. I don't find it as a knock as much as I used to be, but it is fun to kind of make jokes. Jokes are fun.
Jokes are fun, unless you're Army Darryl.
Army Darryl. For
He doesn't
Wanye,
like jokes.
The beef continues.
No beef. I said yesterday I can't stay mad at him. I just wanted to point out he doesn't like humor.
1-833-401-1440. Ricky in the Donut says, I just go with Twix, like the candy bar. I don't know what that's in reference to, Ricky.
Twitter and X combined.
Oh, Twix. Okay, yeah. That's a good
cool.
one. That's not bad. Lance says hearing Wanye likes Elon Musk is devastating to me.
Oh, Lance.
Big Easy, thanks for the question, boys. Yeah, of course, Big Easy. You got a question for one of our guests? Get them in there. I welcome it. If Donovan didn't help me with all the questions for the Jays guests, I would have been swimming. I would have been talking about Carlos Delgado and Raul Mondesi. So, hey, any questions you have for any of our guests, please text them in 1-833-401-1440. Some news and notes from Elks practice today. Good news. Kevin Brown, running back, is healthy. He's going to be good to go, it looks like, because Javon Leake is limited with a hip injury. So we'll see if Kevin Brown gets back into the lineup. Trey Ford, he is currently listed as limited. We've seen some reports that he likely won't play this weekend against Montreal, but McLeod Bethel-Thompson put on a good showing against Hamilton, so you hope he can carry that over. Jake Taylor did not practice, and we had Lucius Purifoy limited with a thigh injury. But Trey Ford looks like he might miss another week. we'll have more news on that coming up as we get closer to kickoff Sunday night in Montreal. We'll take a break. When we come back, more of your text. We'll talk some Oilers in the Oil Report, and still to come on the show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. We'll also hear from Randeep Janda, Vancouver Canucks color analyst, and Rob Demovsky, ESPN Green Bay Packers reporter. 5 questions as well. It's the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Also on Oilers Nation YouTube, Facebook, X, and the Sports 1440 Instagram, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rule number 62. Never miss a free pancake breakfast. It's unheard of and frankly a little upsetting. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words.
Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time.
You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance.
Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
for comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Bacon or sausage and egg McMuffin? It's a delicious dilemma. But what if you didn't have to choose? The Mighty McMuffin is back with bacon and sausage. Mighty McMuffin, mighty impressive. For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving. And nothing moves Albertans better than Canada's best-selling truck, the Ford F-150. Here now with rates as low as 0% or savings up to $17,000. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. 0% or $17,000 off F-150s. Only at Denham Ford in Wetaskiwin or at denhamford.ca.
Whether it's your family's first RV or time to upgrade, we're always here to help at Vision RV. Hi, Larry Ricci inviting you to stop by Vision's brand new showroom today. Out on the lot, literally acres of new and pre-owned models. Are you into deep woods camping or more in the comforts of glamping? You'll find it here, the right RV at the right price. Quick on-site financing, and remember, we give you more for your trade at Vision RV. Easy to find, just south of the Yellowhead on Highway 60.
With you, also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X. We're all over the place. 63 of you watching right now on YouTube. Can we hit that like button? I'm going to refresh. And if I don't see 63 likes, I'm going to question everything that's going on right now. We got an advertisement for a certain travel company running right now. I'll check back later. 15 likes. Come on, guys. We gotta up those numbers. Those are pretty low. The text line is 1-833-401-1440. The email inbox Jason Gregor Show, as always, is brought to you by playalberta.ca. Right now, we are going to get into the oil report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. The midsummer event is on now. You can lease a new Volvo 2024 XC90 for 0% at Canada's #1 Volvo dealership, volvocarsedmonton.com. We had a text come in here. Shay from Hamilton says, "Hey guys, I've been hearing rumors about and rumblings of a trade to acquire Rasmus Andersson from Calgary from 3 different sources over the past few days. Any truth or validity to this? Great show as always. Cheers." Well, Shay, thank you for tuning in from Hamilton. Beautiful city. I haven't heard this. Now, the people you hear from could be way more dialed in than I am. I certainly would not be surprised by that. Making a trade, sending a Flame to Edmonton, I don't know if they'd want to do that. I mean, I guess if you could make the money work and the Flames are benefiting from it, they'll probably likely do that. I think it would be a okay acquisition for the Oilers. But yeah, I don't know. I guess just him being from Calgary in the division, a rival, I'd be a little more hesitant to see it coming. But don't know. I have no inside sources, so I really can't really tell you too much. Can you ask Spec about his comments on Sportsnet from Shannon? Shannon? Sure. I don't know what those comments were, but when we get there, certainly. That's going to come up just after 5 o'clock. John of St. Albert says, Connor and Wanye, question, who do you think will get a bigger crowd on October 25th? The Elks versus Toronto, home game / Halloween, or Pittsburgh and Edmonton, regular season Hall of Fame game? I guess playing in a smaller stadium might go against the Oilers, but October 25th could be a little chilly. 18,000. I want to lean towards the Elks. I want to say that, you know what, people show up and support this team because at that point they're going to go to the playoffs. They've gone on a bit of a run. They're winning football games, and people want to get out there. I used to like those late October games. You layer up, you have a few drinks to warm up. Maybe you have to run down at halftime and sit in the concession, but because the stadium's bigger, I want to lean and hope that the Elks will outdraw the Oilers that night. But I could see a lot of people wanting to watch Sydney, maybe his last time against the Oilers in the Penguins uniform, potentially, and also the Hall of Fame game. That certainly would make things a little bit tougher. Earlier on in the show, we had talked about some of the masks, and some Oilers fans liking the old Grant Fuhr mask. Seemingly, but going to all over the place. John Van Briesbroek has been getting a lot of love, and we continue on here. Every time I look it up, it's a new spelling. John Van Briesbroek mask with the Florida Panthers. That was the one that I kind of grew up on. I liked that. The New York Rangers mask and the Philadelphia Flyers also getting a lot of love. Declan, did we get a chance to ask you? Did you have a mask you liked as a kid growing up?
I guess Kippers, like with the skull.
Yeah.
That would probably would have been my choice. Well, I would really like Kippers. We talked earlier about Calgary. Joe McGinn obviously top that list and what he did, his kind of stash of the sport what's in there. But I always really appreciated Kippers.
He was a good goalie.
I was born in Calgary, so I guess
Oh, well, when people say, what do you like about Calgary? I'll say, Declan was born there. No, that's a good thing. I respect it. No, you were being born there. That's the thing. Gump Worsley, best mask. He once said, my face is my mask. And just to crush that, I do like you, Declan. I don't want people to think that I don't. Has anyone mentioned Brian Hayward and the Sharks mask? Quite a few people, actually. That was almost like one of the reasons we got onto this topic, because the San Jose Sharks, we talked to Curtis Pashelka earlier on, and Brian Hayward's mask was the one that got us on this topic. So yeah, a few people have actually mentioned that. It was very clever, very good. Chris the Plumber says, hey boys, Grant Fuhr in Buffalo. Honest Ed also saying, another good thing that came out of Edmonton, or out of Calgary, Highway 2 North. A few people saying that. Tyler from Terwilliger as well. I mean, for a while, they did have great burgers. Peter's Drive-In. I don't know how that is still. I know we got locations in Red Deer and Edmonton, so maybe that's lowered that a little bit. Best mask, Felix the Cat Potvin. Yeah, Felix was awesome. I think there's a generation of us that really had a big infatuation with that guy. He was a stud goaltender. Gord says, I would not be surprised if the Oilers trade for an ex-Oiler defensive defenseman whose cap hit is less than Broberg if he was here this year. He plays for Seattle and makes between $4 and $5 million. He got along great with the core of the Oilers players. He's in the last year of his deal in Seattle and could be available at the deadline. This has a high probability of happening. Gord, you must be talking about Adam Larson. Gregor's talked about it many times. Part of the reason, I don't know if it was the whole thing, but part of the reason leaving Edmonton was it was tough for his mom to come back here after the unfortunate passing of his father. Would he be open to coming back here for a couple months, especially for a chance to win a Stanley Cup? That'd be nice. Guy's a heck of a player. I mean, we would, I'm sure, embrace him as a fan base. That guy's a stud, but we'll have to wait and see. But I like that name that you're throwing out there. 1-833-401-1440. Always love Stefan Fasse's mask made of ice cubes. Raider Jesse. Little off topic, but Jeff Delorier, orange and white Reebok pads. Yes, I'm a fan of a nice setup. Jake Ottinger, when the stars were the black and the neon green. I think that's a good look. He has some nice pads to go with that one. Lipper says Carter Hutton Golden Bison or Markstrom Flame Mask as an Oilers fan. Yeah, the Markstrom Flame Mask was pretty cool. Kind of lava looking. Nabokov San Jose Sharks mask. Did he have like a bunch of sharks swimming on that mask? Or is that just the one? I thought there was a couple that he had. But yeah, Evgeny Nabokov had some great masks. I'm looking at one with a skull right now. Jeez. What would you put on your mask, Declan, if you were an NHL goalie?
That's a great question. What would I put on my mask if I was an NHL goalie? I would probably do something with fire.
Fire?
Yeah, like maybe actually, you know what I might do? I might do all the elements like earth, air, water, and fire. Just have all of those kind of swirling around on the mask in some capacity.
That'd be kind of cool.
What about you?
I don't know. You know, maybe I'd put, because like Halley's Comet.
Oh,
maybe I'd throw like a comet on there.
No, you're smart, man. Okay, along those lines, maybe I'll put a cougar on there.
Declan the Cougar Kruger.
Yeah, could do that.
That's
right?
sick. That's
Not
actually
bad.
that would be a good nickname for you.
Yours was bad. That was quick too. Have you thought about that?
No,
that was good.
I've never really thought about my goalie mask. I'd probably have like stupid stuff on it, like Bobby Hill.
No, Halley's Comet is that's a really good one.
Might have nothing to do with the team at all, but hey, Cujo did it. The topic has been lit again. You guys keep saying the Broncos suck, but they will finish second place in that division, and they are way better than the Chargers. All right, Brad, we'll see. I don't think we said they suck. We said their quarterback room sucks. Broncos team's okay.
They're pretty bad too.
We'll wait and see. Save that text. Brad, if you want to like reach out to me separately, I'll do a charity bet with you on that one. Broncos Chargers. Chargers run game is going to be legit, man. I don't take too much in preseason, but blocking schemes, like, okay, they actually know how to block now.
Joe Walt's the man, is what I'm hearing.
Joe Walt, I was pretty hyping him up there on Fantasy Frenzy. Only 6 letters in his name. But then Bo Nix only has 5.
That's way cooler. That's got to be the least amount you can have, right? Outside of someone I would think of, maybe like Asian dialect where it's like Lee Na or something like that.
Like if your name was like Joe, J-O, and then your last name was...
So yeah, maybe you could get down to 4.
Joe.
Never 3, though.
Never 3. Impossible. Speaking about hockey masks, McDonald's needs to come out with those goalie masks again. You know what? Hey, Around the NHL is brought to you by McDonald's. Those goalie masks were awesome. I did try to collect as many as I could. JCD, again, everyone's saying it. Best part of Calgary is Stony Trail. So you can just bypass it. A lot of people saying Edmonton Trail as well. So you can just head north and get out of there. Gotta look through this one. Phil Cons, I know this has been several days after the event, but it's bugging me. At the start of last weekend's CFL game, they showed Mike O'Shea the Bombers with a white cylinder object in his mouth. It was only a few seconds. It sure looked like a doobie. Did you notice? And is tape available? Phil. Well, Phil, I think I know exactly what that was, but I'm not too familiar with the product. Declan, you might have to tell me this one. What are the little nicotine packages called? Zins?
Zins is generally what they're referred to. Zin is a brand. There's also Zolt, there's Zonic, there's White Fox. There are quite a few, but Zin has kind of become synonymous with them, yes.
Just tobacco or nicotine?
Just nicotine,
Just
no
nicotine,
tobacco.
no tobacco. So that would have been what my guess would have been. It'd be funny if you had a little doobie on the sideline,
I was
but
actually looking through the ingredients. Nicotine, and there's some sucralose in there for flavoring.
sweet
Yeah.
sucralose.
Not bad.
Keep those texts coming in here. We got Eddie the Eagle. Yeah, Ed Balfour had some great ones. Shannon talking about flip-flopping comments on the St. Louis Blues trade. Okay. Well, geez, man. I can't. I don't know if that's like a criticism. I was all over the place when it came to that. I did not know what was happening. I'm like, they should do this. They should do that. This is the right decision. No, this is the right decision. I was all over the place with that one. So, man, it was absolutely crazy that week with the opinions and how quickly they changed. Spruce Grove Corey. Yeah, Jonas Hiller and the Matt Black with the gold cage. That was very cool. No name on this one. Remember, Dominic Hasek never changed his. He had the old school simple cage. But I think in Ottawa and Detroit, he did slap some logos on the side to do it a little crazier. Big Easy says, Declan, with your last name, you should have Freddy Krueger.
I literally just saw that text. That's a way better idea than the ones I had. Thank you, Big Easy. Maybe, I guess he would be on my goalie mask. Like maybe the claw on one side, his face on the other.
That is awesome. You know what, though? Like, I'm just thinking of Talladega Nights when Ricky Bobby gets his car at the end and there's just like a big cougar sticker on it. That could be your goalie mask.
A lot of good options. I could rotate through them.
Number 30, Declan the Cougar. Kruger. I think that's a pretty sick nickname. So lots to get to here on the show still. 1-833-401-1440. We're talking favorite goalie masks, but also perhaps what would your goalie mask have on it? Rusty Shackelford says Bobby Hill. What about Dale Gribble? Oh, Rusty Shackelford. Great name. Great handle. One of the best, actually, in the 1440 system. Right now, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some Vancouver Canucks here on the show, get a little evaluation over the newest member of the Edmonton Oilers. But first, a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer at legacyheating.ca. Here is Declan Kruger.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
And for your Sports 1440 update, we start in the MLB. 4 finals from earlier today was the White Sox over the Giants 6-2, Rangers over the Pirates 1-0, Red Sox over the Astros 4-1, and the Mets over the Orioles 4-3. Coming up in this hour, about 45 minutes time, we'll see the Diamondbacks and Marlins, Twins and Padres, and the Rockies and Nationals. Later on today, Cincinnati Reds in Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. 5:07 first pitch, and it's going to be Rodriguez on the mound for the Jays in that one. 2 WNBA games in action tonight. The Phoenix Mercury in Atlanta taking on the Dream at 5:30, and at 7:30 it's the Minnesota Lynx taking on the Las Vegas Aces. News out of the NHL as the Blue Jackets have signed forward Cole Sillinger to a 2-year, $4.5 million contract, the $4.5 million being in total money. And in the CFL, Jason Moss, head coach of the Montreal Alouettes, has confirmed that Cody Fajardo will start for the Elks in the Week 12 matchup with the Elks. Rough Riders running back AJ Ouellette is out Thursday versus the Toronto Argonauts as Chad Kelly will be making his season debut in that game. News around the sporting world as Bo Nix has been named. QB1 joins Elway as the only rookie starting quarterback in Denver Broncos history. Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson says he will be playing this Saturday in the team's preseason game, and Deshaun Watson limited in practice with a sore arm. Coming up in hour number 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Randeep Janda, Canucks color analyst for Sportsnet 650, and we'll have another edition of 5 Questions. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, CRA radio station. BKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The road lays ahead. Your potential destinations are endless. Volvo Cars Edmonton gives you choice to match. Right now, lease a new 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers, or save $7,500 on all new 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide how to move forward, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Employee pricing is on now at GMC. Right now, get up to $11,300 off select Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate Crew Cab models. With employee pricing combined with Sierra's 6.2-liter V8 gas engine, 13.4-inch diagonal premium infotainment system with available Google built-in, plus available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance tech, there's more reasons than ever to celebrate this summer. Hit it! Oh yeah! Ask your GMC advisor for details.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
for comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I would do more. I would do more.
I was doing just fine before I met you. I drink too much and that's an issue, but I'm okay. Hey, tell your friends it was nice to meet them, but I hope I never see them again. No, it breaks your heart. Moved to the city and I broke down.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's the Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Use promo code SUMMER, get a $50 casino play with a minimum $5 deposit. Also tonight, it is the Lotto 649. Go to get your ticket or log in to PlayAlberta.ca. And remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson with you here. A lot of us covering for the vacationing Jason Gregor. Lots to get to on the show still. Keep your texts coming into the EWEL inbox, 1-833-401-1440. We're asking you your favorite goalie masks of all time. And also, what would you roll with on your mask if you were able to have one and play in the NHL? Right now, though, let's go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net. We bring in the color analyst with the Vancouver Canucks on Sportsnet. Randeep Janda joins us. Randeep, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Doing good. So you're on vacation in Mexico right now, right?
I am currently looking out my window and looking at the Sea of Cortez. Absolutely. I'm in Cabo, but you can never get so far away from the hockey world. I was at dinner last night and I ran into Patrick Kane, who was also vacationing in Cabo. So there you go. The hockey world is everywhere. Doesn't matter where you go.
That tells me that hockey season is going to get going soon because everyone's trying to get those last vacations and enjoy the great weather before the grind kicks off. It's going to be very interesting, and we do appreciate you joining us. We won't take up too much of your time, but there's a lot of fans in Edmonton right now kind of curious about Vasily Podkolzin, obviously very highly touted. I believe the number 2 ranked skater in that draft of, born in Europe. Also was selected 10th overall by the Canucks. Maybe couldn't find the correct footing. 137 games, had 18 goals, 17 helpers for 35 points total. I want to ask you, before we get to the scouting report on him, I guess, why was he made available by the Vancouver Canucks?
Well, it's a a big year for him. And even heading into the off season, in Vancouver, we were talking about no longer waiver eligible. So he's got to make a move, or you potentially, it's a trade, or you're going to lose him for free on waivers if he doesn't make the team. So why the move happened, it's, a different regime. He was drafted by the Jim Benning regime. So this is not the same group that drafted him. And in the last, I want to say about a year, he had his moments. He played up the lineup with Elias Pettersson or JT Miller in certain, stretches of the season, whether it was early on or dating back even beyond, over a year. And he just wasn't able to grasp that opportunity. So really more than anything, heading into this year, he had to prove something, didn't even make it to the camp with this deal. But it was going to be a make or break season for Vasily Podkolzin in Vancouver, just based on the fact that they weren't able to, he was no longer waiver eligible. And that's something that's obviously a talking point in this city. So, a bit of a man-child, the player himself, but he's got a really, really strong, very coachable. But I think it was just timing. He ran out of time in Vancouver.
Yeah, and I think coming to Edmonton, that 10th overall spot doesn't mean quite as much to Edmonton fans. I just want to see what he can do. So maybe a little bit less pressure in that aspect. So what is the scouting report on Podkolzin? What can Oilers fans expect from him?
Yeah, as I mentioned, he's a man-child, and I mean that in he's got the big frame, he's got the physical tools. You see it. So from a skill aspect, you mentioned it, top 2 skater from Europe, as a top 10 pick in 2019, and by some that year, he was a top 3 pick. There was an issue with his contract in Russia. Otherwise, he might have gone top 3 or top 5 in that draft, but ended up falling down to top 10. So here's the thing. When he forechecks consistently, he forechecks hard. Defensemen feel it. He's got a wide frame. He's good at protecting the puck. Now, the biggest issue with Vasily Podkolzin is confidence. When he's playing a north-south game and he's that F1 on the forecheck, he gets attention, but the consistency and the confidence is not quite there in his game early on up until the age of 23. And there was the hope that he might turn into an Ivan Barbashev type of player in Vancouver, where maybe it takes him a couple of years to get going. And the ceiling on Barbashev is more of a 60, 70 point guy. But with Vasily, if you could get him into 40 points, but he would be that, that effective forechecker and he could chip in with some points, that'd be a pretty good player in 35, 40 points. But unfortunately for him, one area that he was really lacking in Vancouver is that you could see him sometimes think on the ice, where he's kind of frozen on that play, or he's taking a half a second, a little bit long to make that decision. And that's really, when it comes down to it, it's more of a confidence thing. So when a team is in it to win it, and Edmonton is very much the same as Vancouver, even more pressure in Edmonton as far as winning one for Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, when a coach has that decision to make to say, hey, do I play the young guy or do I play maybe a more veteran player who might not freeze in those moments or might not take half a second longer, the young guy usually gets the short end of the stick. So I'm really curious to see how he's used in Edmonton, because in Vancouver, it was, you could see in certain moments, when he plays the instincts, he is an absolute beast out there. But when he takes that half a second extra, that's when he gets into trouble.
Randeep Janda joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in, the voice of the Vancouver Canucks with Sportsnet 650. So Randeep, when you have to guess here, no pressure, but if you had to guess, do you think he'd be better to fit on a line with Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl, or do you think in Edmonton we're looking at a guy who's probably in the bottom 6?
I think at the starting point for Vasily has to be in that bottom 6. Probably looking at, maybe, I know Dylan Holloway, given where he played in the playoffs last year, but with the addition of Jeff Skinner, Victor Arvidsson, there's some really good players in that top 6 in Edmonton. And I think more than anything, Vasily, he's still a project, right? You got to make sure that maybe it's a spot next to Adam Henrique or Derek Ryan, where are you able to bring that forecheck? Are you able to go kind of a downhill style? And I think that third line, where he's maybe playing a physical brand of hockey with a Henrique and Corey Perry, he's bringing some youth to that lineup where you've got some veteran players that are looking out for him. But at the same time, he is, given maybe some soft matchups with that third line as well. So, with Henrique, I like that fit because you've got a skilled centerman that can maybe help him along, get him some good looks, but he's going to have to do the dirty work on that line. So top 6, I think that ideally that would be a great spot for him in case of injury down the road, maybe later on in the year when he has that confidence. But I think the starting point for him is going to probably be next to Henrique or Derek Ryan.
Randy, we saw the Vancouver Canucks, and I think Oilers fans, pesky, relentless would be words that you use to describe that team. They were a great challenge, took the Oilers to the absolute limit. Then they take Vinny Desharnais from the team. What's the expectations for Vancouver going into the season?
Yeah, the expectations are, I go back to last year. Last year, there weren't as high expectations. There was could be a playoff team if everything goes right. Jim Rutherford said that himself. This year, the expectations are higher. You win the division. You take Edmonton to 7 games, who end up going to the Stanley Cup final. And now you add players like Jake DeBrusk. For the first time, Elias Pettersson has a legit, 25-goal guy next to him. He's never really had that. No disrespect to Niels Höglander, but Niels Höglander has never been that in his career. And there's a lot of people in the market that wonder if he can get back to that level of scoring another 24 goals. With DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson's finally got a duo here, and that's why the Canucks, dished out the big bucks to get him to Vancouver. So with that, you have Brock Besser and JT Miller, you have Elias Pettersson and Jake DeBrusk, and you have a power play that should be much better than it showed last year, even though, at the ceiling, it was about maybe a top 3, top 4 power play, but it plummeted in the second half of the season. So I think when you start looking at this team, the additions at the forward group are much stronger than last year. You've got DeBrusk, as I mentioned, but, players like Danton Hine and Daniel Sprong, Kiefer Sherwood, those guys add a little bit of depth and speed to this lineup. Forward group maybe didn't have as much speed to hit you in transition. They've added elements of that. The real questions are in the back end. You mentioned Desharnais. Derek Forbort is another addition that they had, but they did lose out on Nikita Zadorov. They lost a key penalty killer in Ian Cole. The question is, even though the forward group got better, is the defense maybe taking a step back? And with Desharnais, Edmonton knows that he's got his good aspects to his game, but also due to some other players playing well in the playoffs, he was also given a bit of a back seat later on in the playoffs. So I think the question will be out there whether Desharnais and Forbort are better than what the Canucks had last year, but that's going to be a situation where they trust in their structure, their defensive structure, to incorporate Desharnais and Forbort and kind of carry on what they started last year.
Randy, one last question. It's kind of been our topic of the day here. In your opinion, best goalie mask artwork, who would be your favorites?
Ooh, okay. I'm one of the guys that is not a big, my memory when it comes to helmets are terrible, goalie masks specifically. What are some of the ones that people have been rattling off here? I usually trust the texters.
Cujo's getting a whole lot of love. Ed Belfour, Cheevers. Those would probably be the most popular ones right now. There's some biased ones, being in Edmonton, some goalies who haven't had the longest shelf life in town here, but those would probably be the big ones.
Yeah, okay. I remember the Cujo one now that you mention it. That one was pretty mean. So whether it was I think it was the kind of the eyes up top and the jawline and everything. That's the one I remember probably more than anything, because also at that point, Cujo was one of the best goaltenders. So if I had to go with that, if you're making me pick here, I'd probably go Cujo. But like I said, I'm one of those guys. I'm one of those boring guys that I always forget, after the game, that not the huge helmet guy, but let me lean with Cujo.
I don't know if the goalies are getting less creative, but the older I get, the less I notice. But I had to kind of exercise the memory bank to think of some of those older ones. Randy, thanks so much for giving us some of your time while you're on vacation. Enjoy the rest of it, and hopefully we can get you on again once the season gets going.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I'm excited for this year as well with another trade with Vancouver, Todd Colson heading to Edmonton. It adds a little bit more flavor to this maybe developing rivalry. The Pacific Division race should be interesting. Edmonton, Vancouver, you expect them to be there, but hey, we'll see. Maybe they're duking out for first and second spot.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you.
There you go. Randy Janda, color commentator with the Vancouver Canucks on Sportsnet 650. He's got a great voice.
Does. He sounds excellent.
I wish one day I could be just like that.
You've got a good voice for it.
No.
When you launch into doing your liner notes and stuff like that, you sound very much a pro recorder guy.
Well, if anyone wants me to voice commercials for him, let me know.
Ooh.
I'll dabble in that business.
There you go.
Connor Records.
Connor Records.
Are
you going to put out an album?
Well, that's the next step.
Is it?
Yeah.
In your ascension to the top?
Yep. I'm going to go by Kanye North.
Cool. Do you think that
start beef with Kanye?
Well, that's
I could never do that. He made College Dropout. I couldn't do it.
Do you feel a rivalry with Vancouver next season? I know that the marketing folks of the NHL are always trying to stoke these rivalries, but do you feel it?
I think so. I think that's, with all due respect to Calgary, I think Vancouver's number one. It was getting chippy, 7-game series. The fans, like, and I'm sure in Vancouver they would say the same about Edmonton fans, but Canucks fans were such a pain in my backside in the playoffs. I would tweet something that it wasn't even, it was just a comment, and Canucks fans would just troll me.
The best.
Like, it was like when Connor got cross-checked, wow, that could have been bad for him. Well, he deserves it. I'm like, did he? You know, that's playoff. They're giving shots back and forth, beep around and find.
340.
They were telling me, and then then they come after the city. So when the Oilers eliminated them, I said, "Well, good news, Vancouver fans. You can go enjoy your beautiful city. You don't have to worry about hockey anymore.
Go enjoy it."
Oh, it was good trolling, but yeah, I mean, it's I think it's a great rivalry. What do you think? Because Calgary's going to be there. Vegas is fun, but I think Vancouver's top.
Vegas, I don't like for numerous reasons, including Jack Eichel, who is my number one guy I dislike in the league. I don't feel anything against Calgary. Like, it's to the point now where our enemies have been slain, their bodies lit afire, the ashes put into a vial, the vial put down the river in a basket, the basket went over. I can go on. Like, they're dead. There's nothing going on down in Calgary. So it has to be Vancouver or Vegas for me. I don't know. Vancouver, for some reason, they didn't seem like it was that crazy to come back against them in the playoffs and stuff. Like, I don't know.
It was fun. We'll see if it happens again this year. I think it's going to be a good battle in the Pacific. Vegas is going to be good. Maybe the Kings.
Are the Kings going to be good?
I don't know.
Got
to give them a little credit.
I don't know.
It's the Oilers in Vancouver will slug it out, I'm sure. Talladega says, how do you guys leave out Osgood and Dominic Hasek cages?
Well,
because they were ugly.
No, the Dominator with the Jofa, that was cool.
I mean, we're talking cool paint.
Yeah. Osgood, yeah, I can see it.
Marty says Artis Herve had the worst pads and mask combo. Good goaltender, though. Montana to Rice. Personally, I've always hated the Canucks more than the Oilers. Then he says, more than the Flames, I mean.
More than the Oilers. What on earth?
I could have corrected that, but I wanted to roll with it. Always hated the Canucks more than the Flames. The fans got me. I told Gregor once, like, I went to a game, Bertuzzi and Naslund were scoring like 8 points a game against the Oilers, and their fans were drinking beers with straws. And I was just like, I hate you guys. That was it.
I was getting heavy into the BOA like the rest of us when Tkachuk was still there. Like, I was looking forward to a Matthew Tkachuk-led BOA, big battles. It all went away. And then they signed the next players that came along with high contract demands and pulses, and then it all got worse. And that's where we find ourselves in Calgary.
Little brother.
Imagine having the Huberdeau contract to deal with. What do you even do?
Like, with it? You ride it out, I guess.
I guess. Good heavens.
Yeah, I mean, that I'm sure there's people there that if you're listening to Sports Talk down in Calgary, that's a pretty popular topic, maybe similar to another one here in Edmonton.
As albatrosses go, it's the most. It's on the Mount Rushmore of albatrosses, Declan.
Someone say Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
Oh, perks up my ears.
Worst contracts in the league?
Oh, it's the worst. It has to be the worst.
Yeah.
I think at this point, right? Just based on, like, I mean, the dollar value is obviously incredibly high. Yeah, the term and just the lack of it, like, it has to be the worst, I think. I don't know if I can think of a worse one off the top of my head.
We'll have to think about it. Although
Fox makes a lot of money.
There are people asking, what is the Mount Rushmore going to be today in 5
There is
questions?
one.
And it is a Mount Rushmore question for number 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to reveal it?
No, I don't. Well, I don't know. It's not my thing. Do you want to?
Not yet.
No, you're in the host chair. It's your show. I have no problems if you do. I have no problems if you don't.
Please respect the sanctity of 5 questions, gentlemen.
Yeah.
They're revealed in time.
The Brick would not like us to do that so soon.
No.
It's gotta reach the climax. That's when you do it.
I would make a joke, but we're live on the radio. Now is not the time.
I chose that word for a reason.
Did you?
Yeah. Hey, Declan, if they asked you about the mask, you could tell them you'll haunt all the people trying to score on you in their dreams. Declan, aka Freddy Krueger.
Right.
Not a bad one.
Wanye, if
Not
you
a
had
bad
a goalie mask and you got to choose the design, what would you go for?
Reed Schaefer's face. They'd be like, hey, is that Reed Schaefer in net? And I'd be like, no, that's my mask design.
Wow.
Where did Reed go? They would ask. And I'd say, that's a story for a different day.
The looks would be great.
Yeah. Why is former Oilers great Reed Schaefer playing goal in this unaccredited beer league game?
Be so realistic.
Super cool.
Where's he playing next year? Milwaukee?
Yeah. Wasn't a good year.
No?
We're bouncing back. Me, mostly Reed.
Great year with the T-Birds.
Huge.
Milwaukee, 63 games played, 21 points.
We'll acclimatize ourselves.
First step. Good guy. Had him on the show a couple times. Really nice guy.
You did?
Yeah.
Really?
I might have his cell phone number.
I made wacky jokes about him, and someone made the mistake of telling me he thought it was funny. Unlike Army Darryl. And I was like, well, Reed, this is all the encouragement I need. And he was out the door.
I think Yaremchuk also ruffled some feathers talking about Reed Schaefer.
Oh, he knows.
Probably why he did it.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. Working the Donut says, how about Andrew Hammond, a.k.a. the Hamburglar? He had Alfred E. Newman dressed as the Hamburger on his mask. A little different, but interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
Who had Cartman on his mask? Which goalie? That was pretty funny. Because they called him Cartman. I think it was a king.
I'm searching for it, and it's just...
Really? The internet? Or is it your computer?
Nothing's popped up. It's the internet, yeah. It's just a lot of pictures of Cartman.
Are you checking Excel spreadsheets?
No, they don't have one. Lots of him in a Kings jersey, though.
Well, let me look on my internet.
Take a
I've
look.
got a different internet.
I said we are going to break. Let's go to break. When we come back, more of your text, 1-833-401-1440. Keep those messages coming in here at the eWell inbox. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Sounds Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson with you here on Sports 1440 and the Oilers Nation Facebook and YouTube pages, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Be melancholy, not melancholy. Summer is ripe for fun, and some Booster Juice bestsellers are back in season. Watermelon smoothies, including the refreshing Watermelon Wave, a berry burst of strawberries, raspberries, pomegranate, and vanilla frozen yogurt, and fan favorites, Watermelon Explosion, a refreshing burst of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, both made with watermelon sorbet and probiotic yogurt. All of the watermelon, none of the seeds. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
Rule number 41. Never challenge a goose in the Bow Valley. They run this town and they know it. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Bacon or sausage and egg McMuffin? It's a delicious dilemma. But what if you didn't have to choose? The Mighty McMuffin is back with bacon and sausage. Mighty McMuffin, mighty impressive. For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Employee pricing is on now at Chevrolet. Right now, get up to $10,500 off select Silverado 1500 High Country Crew Cab models. With an available 6.2-liter V8 engine and standard Chevrolet safety assist, including forward collision alert, getting out of the city and having a nice, quiet day on the beach is easier than ever this season. So relaxing.
Ask your Chevrolet advisor for details.
Diablo Boots has been open for business for 60 years, selling Canadian-made quality boots. Diablo has Canada West work, biker, and cowboy boots with fixable soles and heels. So why buy boots like Ariat, Justin, or Red Wing that are made in China? Get your money's worth with Diablo's Canada West tough, comfortable work boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. And does Diablo sell the best boots in town? You betcha.
$14.40 Connor Halley. We've got Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Donovan Paulson with you here. The show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Lotto 649 tonight. Coming to you live from the EWell studios here in West Edmonton Mall, where the real power plays to shop at ewell.ca for all your electrical needs online 24/7. ewell.ca is your partner in power. The text line, 1-833-401-1440. Lance says, Vancouver is irrelevant to me. Never think about the Canucks. This playoffs was the first time they were ever relevant to us, but Calgary, I hate that team and the city to my core.
Respect.
I'm telling you, like, we were just talking about it off air. I go down, or used to go down for Labor Day. We had a great time. Great time in the city until Monday afternoon when the Stampeders would always beat us when we were down there. The one game we won, I don't remember the year. It was when Smitty came back to Edmonton in the offseason. Eskimos at the time win the football game. A bunch of us rushed to the place where they exit the field, and all of a sudden the chant breaks out. Smitty, Smitty, Smitty. The players running off the field must have been so confused. They just beat the rival. We're all there supporting them, and everyone's chanting about Ryan Smith.
I respect that day.
It was a good time.
The problem with Calgary, Connor, is Calgarians. I'll pass on the entire lot of them.
What about Declan?
Declan's from Calgary?
Well, you were gone during that segment, weren't you? He was born there.
Suddenly the pieces are falling into place.
Would you call yourself a Calgarian, Declan, or are you an Edmontonian?
No, I would call myself an Edmontonian.
Okay. Did we approve that hall pass to be issued as a city? Do we have a vote?
That's a good question. Are you guys cool with it?
We stop in Red Deer and then we decide if we want to have you aboard. I welcome you, Declan. How long ago were you born?
26 years ago.
Statute of limitations. Welcome to Edmonton.
Well, when did you move here?
When I was 4.
Okay.
2001.
You were 4 in 2001.
2002.
Me too.
Long time ago.
I was too. I must have seen you at the 4-year-old stuff we attended.
You were that really old looking kid in my preschool class.
That's correct. Yes.
I was wondering who that was. Whatever happened to him.
Why is that teenager at play school? They said. I want some Billy Madison stuff. I said.
Dodgeball? Did you dominate?
Oh, he used to rip us, bro. He used to kill us with those. He had the big leather balls too. They would just bounce off our heads. He was a menace with it.
I'm like, let's do math sheets. Just destroy everyone.
We were eating glue and stuff, and Wanye was doing like advanced calculus, pre-high school courses.
Yeah.
That Wanye. Yeg Moose says, I liked Robin Leonard's gray and white Sabres mask. Robin Leonard, cool dude. What was his investment?
Snake Farm. You want to talk about it?
It didn't go well.
our podcast talked about nothing but Robin Lerner's snake farm for a month.
Is that the worst investment one might make?
It's almost mathematically impossible. I know we're live in the air, so I don't want to get into my conspiracies. But the amount of money Robin Lerner claimed to have made, or lost, sorry, on an exotic snake farm was like $40 million or something.
That's wild.
What happened to all the snakes?
They were sold.
But then you didn't recoup the money? If you're like, hey, Wanye, would you like $45 million worth of snakes? I'd be like, oh, where are they?
Hold on. So where did the snake farm operate out of?
I believe Nevada. The details are...
You would have to think right off the jump that can't be the most lucrative industry to dump $40 million into. Like, I understand there's a market for people who want to have exotic snakes, but it has to be pretty few and far between from the everyday man, no?
The people who are able to farm big snakes effectively mint it. Because if you think about it, all you got to do is play Barry White for snakes. Romantic evening, new snakes are born. Not a lot of cost there.
So do you think these snakes are kind of just rolling around the Nevada deserts the way the Burmese pythons are, the Florida Everglades?
I'm wondering if there was even snakes.
So you don't think they got there, period?
Well, unless you have like 100% mortality rate at the snake farm.
Which I guess maybe is possible. I don't know. Like, what does disease travel look like in the snake colony?
At no point in any of the press for this snake farm bankruptcy did they say all the snakes died.
Okay, I got one for you. One really big genetically modified snake killed all the others and is out roaming around like in Anaconda.
You're talking Anaconda, J-Lo, LL Cool J.
A little bit.
Based on true story.
The snake
sounds like
Robin
a good
Leonard.
sequel.
You know, they actually made 4 Anaconda movies, and in 3 and 4 with David Hasselhoff, they were in a Romanian forest.
Well, why don't we do a 5th with the Hoff?
Do you think we could afford them?
In the Nevada desert.
These days, we probably could afford them.
So Zach Miller, former NFL tight end turned financial advisor with AWM Capital, said the $1.2 million Leonard paid for the snake farm and massive amount of debt he reported in his bankruptcy filing caught him off guard. Business is already risky, and when you add massive debt on top, it can be devastating when things go wrong. $1.2 million he paid for this snake farm?
It's more than that.
I'm reading here his liability to creditors is between, now this is obviously a wide margin, but between 10 and $50 million.
I heard it was like $40 million. Now he may have bought it for X.
The reptile farm also operated out of Missouri, which is an even more arbitrary state. I mean, I don't know what tax laws are like there, but still very strange.
If I'm breeding snakes, God willing, one day I will. I wouldn't be there. Wouldn't be in Missouri.
The venom of the death stalker snake cost $39 million per gallon. What are we doing with this guy's venom for one?
How Vegas goalie, this is the Toronto Star. So legit.
Did someone say LL Cool J?
Hold on, the guy who sold Robin Leonard the snakes was murdered?
Now you're starting to see the strangeness.
Also, guys, it was Ice Cube and J-Lo.
Wasn't LL?
No.
LL Cool J was in Halloween H2O, though.
And one of my favorite,
Deep Blue Sea. Love that movie.
It's a fine movie.
Great movie. Yeah, that was GM Parisian and Bobby from Legacy Eating saying it was not LL. It was Ice Cube. A lot of people saying it was Ice Cube. A lot of Anaconda fans here. The first one, at least. Maybe not 3 and 4 with Hasselhoff.
The second one was good. They're in Borneo. It's pretty cool.
Interesting.
No anacondas there, though, funny enough.
LJ just writes in, he was murdered?
He was by his wife, it looked like. So maybe that's not, conspiracy hat isn't all the way on, but still the guy who sold him the money and before he goes into all this debt ends up dead. Kind of a common theme these days, if you will.
Now, was it his wife? Or was it snakes wearing women's clothing all banded together to look like a person walking?
Brad says peak off season right now. It is, yes. Very much so.
Yeah, we've gone down a terrible road.
Well, here's the thing.
And you know what? It's my fault, honestly. I've done this to us.
No, I don't think it's so bad because it is related to hockey and Robin Leonard, and it was a lot of money. Where are these things operating? Because like Tiger King was like an exotic animal, not a zoo, but a fortress. We got big snakes going on. Like, who's going to these things? Who's buying these? Who's investing? It's It's wild.
I'll tell you who's investing. Robin Leonard, formerly of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Well, our greatest enemy is the Golden Knights. This is hockey related. We're analyzing Vegas all-time goaltending and the investments they made.
Tyler says, see, Robin Leonard's snake farm venture is putting off major Tiger King vibes.
But Tiger King was a zoo. Robin Leonard's snake farm was exclusively in the business of farming snakes. But to have business debts of up to $50 million for your snake farm.
It's just weird. My buddy had a snake.
Farm?
No. One snake. He was watching it for a friend, and he used to have like house parties. And so he had the big cage with a snake, and like once in a while they'd feed it. Ooh, I don't like snakes. Me and Indiana Jones, man.
Every time if I had a snake farm, every time one was born, I'd be like, why? Why am I doing this with my time? Did you ever see the lady online who was lying in bed and her boa constrictor came in and laid beside her the length of her? And she like did a selfie, like, you look at, we're in bed, yay. And people were like, that's what they do before they kill you, lady.
It's actually pretty common with people who have snakes like that as a pet. Like they'll size them up and the people won't know it. And they'll take it to the vet and be like, it's sleeping irregularly, like it normally curls up in a ball. Then they find out it's sizing them up to see if they can swallow them. It's pretty common if you're a snake owner.
That's what happened to LL Cool J. And he was replaced by Ice Cube halfway through the movie.
Owen Wilson was also in that movie. People forget.
Ice Cube with a famous line, there's snakes out there this big. That comes in from GM Parisian, fan of the movie. So Steve from Jim Heller saying he wasn't choked by a snake, was he? And then adding, dun, dun, dun. It was his wife.
Ben Rennick, I think his name was, and yeah, it was. So not quite the conspiracy I maybe thought it was when I read that line in the article.
Well,
but she was charged. She went to prison.
It's hard being a snake farmer. You got NHL goalies trying to buy your snake farm. You got your wife trying to kill you.
You're living in Missouri. Doesn't get much worse than that.
LJ says John Voight was also in Anaconda.
Hell of an actor. Even worse dad.
So I hear. Leave the snakes and all animals alone. They were here before us. We are in their yard. Rod. Dr. Dick Richard. Did someone say conspiracy?
Let's go.
Wow, I love conspiracies. I wish we could really get into it without being judged.
I know what tomorrow's Mount Rushmore is going to be, gentlemen.
Conspiracy theories?
Yeah. Or maybe, I don't know. Tune into 5 questions tomorrow.
Or maybe not. We'll see.
I got that smooth brain syndrome where I fall for stuff. You know, gullibleness. I love a good conspiracy.
Frithy says the Anaconda movie makes me think of movies Primeval and Lake Placid. Snakes on a Plane. What's your favorite like bad movie that you enjoyed? Like Sharknado.
Oh, I know.
The Asylum or whatever they make all those movies.
Starship Troopers.
I love that movie. Love that movie.
Declan.
Yeah,
We're not so different, you and I.
Neil Patrick Harris, Denise Richards.
That was a comeback film for NPH.
Oh yeah.
Montana.
He tried to shed the child actor label with that one. Yeah.
Did it work?
Oh yeah. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah,
Carl Jenkins.
It's great.
It's one of those movies like I kind of reluctantly watched, and like you get good entertainment value for sure. No,
no, yeah, for sure.
It's a fine movie.
It's fun. The one thing I'll say is that one, like when I think of like a bad movie, I think of low budget. That one was obviously like a so bad it's good, but it at least had some production value to it. Like you guys ever seen The Room with Tommy Wiseau?
I'm familiar with it. Isn't it considered the worst movie of all time?
It is, and boy, does it hold up. But I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to watch. And also, I know we're just beating this to death with 6 hammers in our hands, but Anaconda's up there for me for worst best movies. Yeah, or best worst movies, I should say.
Sharknadoes are an amazing franchise, but they knew they were going to be crappy. You got to get the movies that were really trying. Like The Room, they weren't trying to make the worst movie of all time.
No.
It just fell out the camera.
What does he say? Hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I
did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Classic.
For worst movie of all time, I would nominate 91% of movies made since 2020.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
It's not good.
So you're not a Marvel guy is what I'm hearing, because that's about 90% of the movies that have come out since 2020.
I watch Prime, I watch Netflix, I see the ratings, which mean nothing in this day and age. And I watch some of this stuff and I'm like, damn, who put Ben Affleck in this new pile of garbage? The answer? Apple.
Danny Trejo.
Yeah, he was the hunter at the beginning of Anaconda who dies.
We also have GM Parisian. We did mention his name, but he says, can't believe you guys are going to leave out the contribution of Owen Wilson to Anaconda. But Declan, I believe he's mentioned his name, so we did get him in there.
He played the snake.
He played the cameraman.
I see.
Police Academy, best worst movie.
Oh, Police Academy is just a good movie.
Yeah.
Humans are better than snakes. We invented donairs. Scoreboard, baby.
That's the one.
Tyler Millwoods.
Winning.
Has anyone mentioned Patrick Lalim's mask? Did he have the Martian? Marvin the Martian?
I don't know.
If not, that's a very weird thing for me to say. But we'll check it out because that'd be very weird.
Didn't he win 17 games in a row as a rookie without any losses? I do believe that's true.
Ole Kolzig, Ole the goalie, pretty good Godzilla mask. I always thought the biggest missed opportunity was Jim Carrey not having a mask-themed goalie mask. The Jim Carrey hit.
Oh, he came and went, didn't he?
Very quick.
Won the Vez.
Eli says Russian Terminator, you need to see it. And Coach Al says snakes made great cowboy boots.
Good call.
I think TR has a pair of snakeskin boots.
Teddy Roosevelt?
Terry Ryan.
He probably had some too, though, to be fair.
Oh, TR for sure.
And yes, it was Marvin the Martian. Very quickly, The Dark Backward, worst movie ever with Bill Paxton from JC. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes from Honest Ed.
Love that movie.
Ed and Father Various says, fellas, speaking of snakes, look up the Manitoba snake pits and why there's so many snakes gathering there. Look up the Winnipeg Legislate Grounds and its global positioning. Enjoy.
Hold on.
Manitoba snake pits. And then also Montana de Rice said you guys should start a conspiracy podcast. I don't know if people are ready for that yet.
I don't know that they could handle the truth and the level we would deliver it. Manitoba snake pit? What was it? Manitoba
snake pits, and then Winnipeg Legislative Grounds and its global positioning.
Oh, no.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll dive into that potentially. Or maybe we've said something we're not supposed to, and we'll be taken off the air.
There's a lot of snakes in Manitoba, Connor.
We're staying out of Manitoba then. Coming up next, 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. It's the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
The only thing as hot as the weather this summer is a night out at On the Rocks. Every weekend, enjoy live music and top DJs spinning your favorite tracks. The dance floor is the place to be. Celebrating a birthday or stagette? Let OTR take the work out of the planning for you. Book your party online at ontherocksedmonton.com. Join OTR every evening from 4 p.m. for a great atmosphere and good company. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Grab your Good Vibe Drive and head to On the Rocks, corner of Jasper Ave and 118th Street.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Get a great night's sleep during the final weekend of the Brick Summer Sleep event. Take up to 50% off mattresses and up to $1,200 off sleeper sectionals. And buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, shop amazing deals in other departments, like up to 20% off outdoor furniture and 25% off home entertainment furniture and fireplace. You won't want to sleep through these fantastic prices. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. Anything that's exposed to the elements or has moving parts needs regular maintenance. And when you consider an RV, well, it falls into both categories. Lots of moving parts and sitting out all the time, which is why we hire the best RV technicians in Alberta to come work here at our new, bigger store in Leduc.
Noble has giant indoor service space that can hold the biggest RVs in the world.
That's right, Bob. The vast majority of our indoor space at Noble is dedicated to service and repair. You spend the summer in the great outdoors, and we spend the winter doing scheduled maintenance, so you're ready to go next season.
Sounds like a year-round thing, Rick.
That's it exactly, Bob. Our techs are the most highly experienced men and women in the business. We're solving problems and creating solutions every day. Whatever your used RV needs, our service team has seen it before and knows exactly what to do.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Donovan Paulson with you, coming to you live from the EWELL studios here in West Edmonton Mall. The show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Code word SUMMER. Get a free $50 casino play with a minimum $5 deposit. Use your game sense. Text line is 1-833-401-1440. We got a bunch of new texters today, so that's a good sign. If you do text in for the first time, just tell us your name so we can get you into our system, and then you don't have to sign it after that. Wanye, just quickly, Winnipeg.
Yeah, never mind all of that, Connor. Listen to what I found on the internet, with the computers.
Well, that's what I want. That's what I'm asking you about.
Verbatim, here's the article. Manitoba conservation articles were called to the legislative buildings in Winnipeg this week after a den of 10,000 garter snakes were discovered to have taken over the entire upper floor of the legislature building. It makes a lot of sense, says snake expert Belinda Peters. These snakes will always find a way to a suitable environment. I'm surprised no one noticed them before. You're surprised nobody noticed that 10,000 snakes took over the legislature building's top floor? Unbelievable.
See a couple hundred, no big deal. Then you get to 10,000.
I'm surprised no one noticed them before. It happens every year.
Honestly, if I saw one snake in this studio, I'd be sitting up on the desk.
I'm out of here, man.
I'd be laying sideways on YouTube, get me looking on my side. It'd be weird.
Apparently, Manitoba is home to the Narcisse snake pits, home to the largest concentration of snakes in the world. Yuck. May I also add, gross. May I also add, I would still prefer to writhe with 10,000 garter snakes in the legislature building than go to Calgary for an hour.
That's a statement. Before we get to 5 questions, Cynical Trucker Al says bad movie called Tire and Tire 2 about a possessed rimless car that kills people by driving over them.
Based on a true story.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
It was in Winnipeg.
Yep.
Right now, let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. And check out The Brick's fabulous summer sleep event for all your bedroom needs, from mattresses, bedding, and bed frames, nightstands, dressers, and decor at thebrickandthebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right. Question number 1. Back to sports. If you had to have one NHL player in all of history to take a penalty shot for your life, who would you choose?
For my life, I'd like to choose the captain of the Oilers, number 97, Connor McDavid, because even though he says he's not good at breakaways, he's good at breakaways.
So it's a good pick.
Good pick. I want to appeal to the listeners and say Sam Gagner, because man, young Sam Gagner in shootouts was unbelievable.
But your life's on the line.
But my life's on the line here, and any history in their prime, I'm taking Pavel Datsyuk.
My choice is,
and I want him to do the Datsyukian goal to win. Who do you got, Declan?
Yeah, I'm taking Datsyuk as well.
Taking Datsyuk to save your life. One penalty shot taker. Let us know.
Patty Kane was a close second for me.
That'd be a good one. Well, he's down in Cabo right now, so very cool for him.
Question number 2. Who is the worst number 1 pick of any sport in your lifetime?
Don't you say it. Don't you say it, Connor. I'll tell you who it's not.
Your turn.
It is not Nail Yakupov. He is not.
He's up there.
He is not. I don't even want to say who is. I just want to make sure everyone knows Nail Yakupov was not the worst number 1 pick in our lifetime.
Anthony Bennett, Canadian to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Is it safe? I didn't want to go that way. I didn't want to throw a Canadian under the bus there. There's others certainly in conversation, but and just for fun, Jamarcus Russell.
Damn, Connor, we are unbelievably in tune today. Those were my 2 answers as well.
Really?
So, well, Kwame Brown was the 3rd as well, but yeah, those were 2 of the first 3.
How about Michael Olowokandi, the Candy Man?
He at least stuck around for a little while. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't good, but he was better than Bennett and Kwame. Question number 3: would you rather hit a grand slam in the World Series, a 3-point shot in the final 2 minutes of the NBA Finals to give your team the lead, or score a touchdown in the Super Bowl?
Grand slam in the World Series. That would be so cool. So here's the truth. I've been playing a lot of MLB baseball game that I have on my old PlayStation 3. And my team, I played for the Houston Astros. That's who drafted me. I was playing in Cincinnati. So earlier today when I was talking to Mike Wilner and said, you're in Cincinnati, I was having flashbacks to my video game. Nothing like hitting a dinger. My team's not good. With the Houston Astros of 2013, we're not a very good team. Jose Altuve is just a beginner. He's just getting into a pretty good ranking. But long story short, grand slam.
Beautiful. Fulfilling?
Oh, so good. Sometimes I just watch my guy do his trot around the bases.
I don't know, Declan. This is a hard one for me. I guess a Super Bowl touchdown, just because like in the moment it'd be so incredible. I think to be there. Wish you'd say win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I specifically didn't put hockey in there because I thought it would be too obvious for you to choose.
I mean, they're all good.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't think there's a bad pick here.
What are you going?
I'll do the 3 in the NBA Finals.
That'd feel very cool. But a 3 in the NBA Finals, like if it's just a 3-pointer, is it 3-0?
No, it's in the final 2 minutes.
Final 2 minutes? It could win the game.
That's what I'm saying.
But might be irrelevant. I'm thinking of a grand slam at any point of a baseball game. I just put up 4 points on the board. We got to find a way to win.
Question number 4. Who is your favorite athlete that no one seems to remember?
Would you like to answer this on my behalf, Connor?
Reed Schaefer.
What do you mean no one remembers him? We've talked about him 4 or 5 times today.
Who is it?
He's the talk of the town. It's Reed Schaefer.
Reed Schaefer. Favorite athlete that no one remembers. For me, it's obviously going to be a member of the San Diego Chargers going back in the day. There's a few guys that I think probably don't get enough love, but wide receiver Malcolm Floyd, just a consistently good Charger, had a brother named Malcolm, and his name was Malcolm.
Sorry, what was the brother's name?
Malcolm. One had an L before the M, the final M, and one didn't. Malcolm and Malcolm.
What was going on in their house?
Either way, Malcolm Floyd, number 80, caught Phillip Rivers' first career touchdown pass. That's my pick.
Honey, we need to have another kid. We didn't put an L in his name.
Malcolm, get over here.
Just causing trouble.
Who do you got, Declan?
Like I've talked about it a little bit with my Rough Rider fandom. These names have been brought up with like Tyrone Brackenridge or James Patrick, but I don't want to overuse those ones. So I might go another DB who played around that time, Lance Fraser, or 15 for the club, played defensive halfback, was a really good player. Did give up that touchdown on SJ Green's one-handed catch in the 2010 season opener, but
confession, I still don't know if he got that, Declan.
Listen, man, I'm right there with you.
Slow motion replay.
Hell of an effort, but he looked out.
Yeah, they never show a slow-mo replay of that one. I want to see possession. I want to see if the knee's in. Anywho.
No, I hear you. And also, I'll throw James Johnson, Grey Cup 2007 MVP, 3 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Never gets talked about because didn't have much of a career outside of that game. But I'll say him, man. Number 5, your Mount Rushmore of pies.
And the reason for this is because you and Lotad were talking pies, correct?
Lotad were talking pies earlier today. Yes.
Wanye, you go ahead.
Peak off season. Hey, pie talk. Robin Lerner's Snake Farm. I'm a big pecan pie guy. It's good eating, Connor.
So that's 1.
Lemon meringue pie. Wilhock beef jerky pie. Delicious. Jack Daniels. That's my 4th kind of pie I like. 4 different pies. What am I, the king of England who's had 4 different kinds of pie?
Is there such thing as like a chocolate pie?
There's like a chocolate cream pie.
Like a cake. All right, chocolate cream pie.
Well, how can it possibly be your first on the Mount
favorite
Rushmore
pie?
if you didn't know it existed?
I didn't know if my mom just made that up, like if her creation, or if that was a thing people have.
You think your mom invented chocolate pie?
It was just like putting on a pie shell. Is that it?
That's like, I guess there are kind of variations of it, but more or less, yeah. I would say
I haven't seen it in restaurants, but that was really good when I was a kid. So okay, that's 1. Pumpkin pie, obviously.
Can't stand it. Is that divisive? Does this divide the room?
I can't believe. Yeah, I love pumpkin pie, man.
I don't like pumpkin pie.
Chicken pot pie.
Oh,
like it.
And I've recently really got into key lime pie. So chocolate cream pie, pumpkin pie, chicken pot pie, and key lime pie.
Now hold on. You just got into key lime pie?
Yeah.
And you're playing PlayStation 2 baseball?
Yeah. 3. PS3.
And you want to throw it all away and get married?
I'm already married.
Oh,
I have it all.
Does the key lime pie know?
Oh, key lime pie always is a place in our house. Declan, let us know.
Mount Rushmore, my Mount Rushmore pies?
Yeah, of course.
Well, pumpkin, obviously number one. It's gotta be, it's such a classic, but I still have to put apple. Number two, it's kind of lame, but I'm gonna do it. Number three, cottage pie, similar to you with the chicken pot pie.
Cottage pie.
Cottage pie.
What do you put in there? Cottage?
No, so it's beef, mashed potatoes, and then like peas, corn, carrots. Very British dish.
This is very British.
Shepherd's pie is, you might know it as that, but shepherd's pie is supposed to have lamb. Cottage pie has beef. So I'm taking cottage pie.
Okay, I would like that with beef instead.
You really know your pies, Declan.
Well, I do okay. And my fourth one, I think, would have to be like a really good strawberry rhubarb pie. I would say is my fourth one.
But
I'd be sad blueberry pie got left off, even though it was my own list.
Like, where's the best pie spot? Vi's for Pies, isn't that a place?
That's good eating.
Fife and Declan?
Fife. Yeah.
Duchess.
Art of Cake. Do they have pie?
Or do they beef with having like pie and cake? Do they get along?
I don't think so. I think it's all baked goods.
Best pie in town, Bubba Gump shrimp.
Best pie in town is the pie you have with your friends Wanye and Connor after the show.
Aw.
One day we'll do that.
That's nice.
King of Hornaski says Dave Dickinson was a phenomenal QB. No one remembers him. We have Elks legend AJ Gass from Morgan. Oh, he used to live near the Save On Foods I worked at as a kid. And he'd come by. Huge dude. Occasionally you'd see Gizmo as well.
Giz.
Huge. In a different way, Mike York, my favorite Oilers jersey with number 16. The Forgotten Stall, Jared Stahl, UC Jokinen, Lofa Tatupu, old Seattle Seahawks linebacker from USC. He was really good. He actually does a Seahawks podcast now, I think. UC Jokinen, that's another one for the shootout because, I think he said it was 13 for 13. We had a lot of people saying Mario Lemieux. Yeah, see, I saw Mario. Great player. Saw him at the Olympics in 2002. But if I had been a little bit older, I would have thought of him for the shootout.
Oh, I'm like, which question are they answering with these?
Oh, yeah, we're going all over the place here. Steven says, got to be DR10, Derek Ryan for the shootout. Mario, the end. The Paralyzer, Matt Hendricks.
Are you of
Good
the
one,
mind?
NPR.
Are you one of these guys, Connor, that thinks Mario Lemieux is in the same conversation as Gretzky? Or are you a normal person like me and no one can even talk about Gretzky?
Ooh, I mean, you look at Mario's numbers, pretty close, right?
Solid number
Not
2.
quite there.
If he didn't get hurt, that's always the argument. Like, how much closer would he be?
He was ill as well with cancer, right?
Yeah.
So, man, I don't think anyone's in Gretzky's tier.
Yeah.
But if there was someone, I'd be okay with it being Mario. He was awesome. I loved watching him in 2002 when he let it go between his legs to, was it Sakic? Was he playing with Iggy at the time too?
Ooh.
That 2002 team was awesome. Our text line will let us know. We shall take a break. South Island Pie. Kiwi pies made in Edmonton. That comes in from No Name. Get us your name. New texter. I wonder if a lot of people are just like tuning in now. New people just finding us here. We're almost at a year at Sports 1440.
It's because we're talking about snakes and pies.
Tantalizing radio.
All these new people are like, now we're getting somewhere.
Finally. We'll take a break. 1-833-414-40. Keep those texts coming in here. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, that's me. We got Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson with you here. The show is brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca as we come to you live from the eWell studio in the final hour of the show. We will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Rob Demovsky, covers the Green Bay Packers for ESPN. Right now, though, we are going to get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Try the Cookies and Cream Booster Ball, the yummy little bundle of almond butter, maple syrup, coconut, and gluten-free cookies. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today only at Booster Juice. Here is Declan Kruger.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
And for your Sports 1440 update, we start in the MLB. 4 finals from earlier was the Mets over the Orioles 4-3, Red Sox over the Astros 4-1, Rangers over the Pirates 1-0, and the White Sox over the Giants 6-2. 3 games currently in action right now. Diamondbacks and Marlins. Marlins leading that one 2-1 in the bottom of the first. Twins and Padres tied 0-0 in the bottom of the first. And at the end of the first, Rockies and Nationals tied by that same score, 1 hit apiece for each club. Coming up in about 5 minutes' time, we will see a pair of games, the Guardians and Yankees out in New York, and the Cincinnati Reds in Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. Rodriguez going to be on the mound for the Jays in that one with an official 5:07 first pitch. WNBA action gets going in about half an hour today. The Phoenix Mercury in Atlanta to take on the Dream. And then the national game tonight at 7:30. We'll see the Minnesota Lynx taking on the Las Vegas Aces. News from the NHL earlier today. Blue Jackets have signed forward Cole Sillinger to a 2-year contract worth $4.5 million. And in the CFL, Chad Kelly will be making his season debut as the Argonauts host the Rough Riders on Thursday. For that game, Rough Riders running back AJ Ouellette will be out, and Jason Moss, head coach of the Montreal Alouettes, has confirmed that Cody Fajardo will be getting the start for the Owls in their Week 12 matchup with the Elks. News around the NFL as Bo Nix has officially been named quarterback 1 for the Broncos, joining John Elway as the only rookie quarterbacks in franchise history to start for the club. Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson has been limited in practice with a sore arm, and Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson has reported that he will be playing on Saturday in their preseason game. In hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. We will also head out to Green Bay and talk a little Green Bay Packers with Rob Demovsky. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Be melon jolly, not melancholy. Summer is ripe for fun, and some Booster Juice bestsellers are back in season. Watermelon smoothies, including the refreshing Watermelon Wave, a berry burst of strawberries, raspberries, pomegranate, and vanilla frozen yogurt, and fan favorites, Watermelon Explosion, a refreshing burst of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple, both made with watermelon sorbet and probiotic yogurt. All of the watermelon, none of the seeds. Visit a Booster Juice near you today, or download the Booster Rewards app.
The road lays ahead. Your potential destinations are endless. Volvo Cars Edmonton gives you choice to match. Right now, lease a new 2024 Volvo XC90 from 0% for qualifying loyal customers, or save $7,500 on all new 2024 XC60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. All demo vehicles come with a free 10-year, 1 million kilometer warranty. No matter what you decide how to move forward, your first choice is Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Honk your home for Papa John's newest deal. It's one big deal for one big pizza. An extra large New York style one topping pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's original fresh, never frozen dough. Hand stretched thinner to make 8 extra large slices with your favorite mouth-watering toppings. So hold and fold that slice like a New Yorker. Bigger is better when it comes to pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get some extra large New York style one topping pizza for only $17.99 at Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Whatever the project, big or small, when you need metal cut precisely and promptly, you need Metal Supermarkets. That's right, fast, so you can get it done, then enjoy the sun. Imagine what you'll do with all that extra time.
I've always wanted to try bird watching. So peaceful, so... Hey, a woodpecker. That's my leg! What the actual...
Maybe find another summer pastime, but in the meantime, see the pros at Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for... Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
I'm too sexy for me.
Handling the digital side of things. Of course, we're here on Sports 1440, also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X. The show, as always, is brought to you by playalberta.ca. You got the Lotto 649 tonight. You can also get a $50 free play at the casino with code word SUMMER with a minimum of a deposit of $5. Right now, we will be joined by our daily guest here at 5 o'clock, Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by GS Construction. They're still hiring, looking for laborers, pipe layers, pipe layer helpers, top men and women, lead hands, and water and sewer foremen. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS. The meal, our waitress asked me if I wanted key lime pie for dessert. I never had it before. She has such a sweet accent. She could have talked me into shoveling eating mud from Shovelhead. Well, that's an interesting story. Got us through here. But
romantic.
Very much so. Spec, I think I hear you there. How are you doing today?
This guy never had key lime pie before in his life. What is he, 7 years old?
Is that? Yeah. Well, I will say I didn't really get into key lime pie till I was about 25, 26.
Really?
Were you a fan of that from a young age?
Oh my God, key lime pie is awesome. I don't know. I thought everyone had key lime pie.
Well, since we're talking about it, your Mount Rushmore of pies, Spec. I assume key lime pie.
You're not going to like it, Spec.
Key lime pie has to be up there.
We're Mount Rushmoreing again, Spec. I apologize in advance.
Wanye, I'll tell you what. If this is you, I know you're behind all this.
Indeed. They put me in here when Gregor went on vacation. They said, this idiot doesn't need to have anything and happen in sports to talk all day.
Well, I'd say probably my favorite pie of all time would be strawberry rhubarb.
Wow.
Key lime pie is second. And, my mom, she made a lemon meringue pie, man. And that meringue was about 4 inches high on top of it. It was so good. She would smite me from above if I didn't include it on my Mount Rushmore of pies.
You got to get it in there. Spec, we also, in 5 questions, got on the topic of who would you need someone to take to save your life, a penalty shot in hockey. And that led to Mario Lemieux's name being brought up here. And then Wanye asked me if I had if I had Mario Lemieux in the same category as Wayne Gretzky when it came to the all-time greats. I didn't see Mario in his prime. I didn't see Wayne in too much of his prime either. But for me, I think Wayne Gretzky stands alone. You've been covering the game for a long time. If you were to tier these guys, is anyone else in the Gretzky category?
Okay, wait. In breakaways or in overall hockey?
Overall hockey.
Okay, because breakaways, Gretz isn't even top tier. He wasn't that. He'll tell you he wasn't great on breakaways.
Not even good enough to get in at Nagano.
Right, which was kind of crazy and stupid, but whatever.
Yes.
No, I mean, I guess I would say to you that in my certainly, looking at, era adjusted and all that stuff, nobody has towered over their peers to the degree that Wayne Gretzky did, right? How many 200-point seasons? He was not only the best player in the game, like, for instance, McDavid's the best player in the game right now, that in my opinion. Nathan McKinnon, to me, is second. He's in the stratosphere of McDavid. In fact, there's a couple things you might say he's better at than McDavid. He's a more powerful skater. He's a bigger man. Gretzky was better at everything. Of course, he wasn't size, but nobody, like there was Gretzky, then you ended your sentence, you took a deep breath, you started a new paragraph, and then you said Lemieux or, Lindros or whoever that was next. No, Gretzky was way ahead of everybody in his time. Was Gordie Howe that far ahead in his day? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but Gretzky was in his day. I'll tell you that for sure.
These kids today, though, Spec, they don't necessarily remember that Lemieux had chronic bad back and had to take most of a season off for chemo. The poor fellow in the middle of his career came back and I believe still won the scoring title.
Oh, unbelievably great.
Unbelievable.
Player. In my lifetime, the four best players are, does it not go Gretzky, Lemieux, Crosby, McDavid? Isn't that the timeline here?
Spec, did you just propose a Mount Rushmore?
That's a Mount Rushmore in Mark Spector's hockey watching lifetime. Right there, baby.
Definitely take note of that. We got the question for tomorrow.
That's right.
Spec, we're eventually going to let this topic go away, but just for a little bit longer, just on the topic of offer sheets, because we've had a few people still asking questions. For the players that got away, Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg, do you think there was a number that the Oilers would have felt more comfortable at? Like, is there a max number you think that would have been a fair deal to retain Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg for the cost of that game? Obviously 4.6, 4.5, pretty high, but a number that you think they would have been comfortable at least paying these guys?
Yeah, no. Like, I think the Dylan Holloway number wasn't too crazy, but no, like the reason that it was such a perfect offer sheet was because the Oilers, they didn't have any wiggle room. There's a reason they were offering Holloway like 1.1 and Broberg 1.4 or something. That's it. They have UFAs here and Bouchard as well to pay. They can't give it out to their kids. They got to, they have to be tight on restricted free agent contracts. So, was there a number? Yeah. 1.3, they'd have taken them both, but there's no such thing as an offer sheet at that number. So my point is the Oilers had no wiggle room, and that takes me sort of the next thing here. Like I've been listening to your show all day. I was driving around, and someone said I should have to explain what I wrote about my flip-flopping and all that. So let's make this clear. When this, and I heard what you said, Connor, that we all flip-flop all week because it was an ever-changing Mount Rushmore of offer sheets, Wanye. But so the thing starts, and I looked at it and thought the Oilers are screwed. They're not only won't they be able to keep these guys, but they're completely out of control of the situation. Doug Armstrong has them dead to rights. But then over the course of a week, they made a few transactions. And my point was, by the Oilers gained control of this thing. In the end, they could have kept both guys. In the end, they had the cap space. They made the CC trade. They brought in a Podkolzin as backup for Holloway. I know he's not as good, but he's backup. They swapped some things around. They brought in in the end, they squeezed another third round pick and a prospect out of St. Louis. My point is this. We have been hearing complaints about Oilers management for the last 10 years about how they're slow of foot. They're not modernized. Whenever a Podkolzin moves, all our listeners say, why didn't we get Podkolzin? Our managers are too slow. Well, in the last week, Stan Bowman, like him or not, he, under the pressure of an offer sheet, got a ton of work done. And in the end, the Oilers could have kept those two players if they wanted to. They chose not to, and I got the reasons. I get that. But my reference to this masterclass was, I can't believe they gained control of the situation the way they did. And in the end, you know what? It was just too steep. They didn't keep the players. Let's all move on. But I'll stand my ground. I think the work that Stan Bowman did in his first week as a GM with this gun to his head, I'd ask you if there's a way he could have done a better job.
No, I mean, we talked about it from the start, and like I said earlier, I flip-flopped all over the place. I thought for sure, okay, you can keep your forward, but you'd rather keep Philip Broberg because defensively tougher to find those guys, in my opinion. And then, as soon as we saw the Podkolzin move, I thought, okay, well, see you, Dylan Holloway. That clearly spells the end for you. Cody Ceci gets traded, and I thought, okay, well, that opens the door for Philip Broberg to be brought back. Even if the number is a little high, it does make sense to bring him back. And then they're both gone. Like, I was all over the place. I was thrown through a loop. Stan Bowman, like you said, he did what he could to create the space, and they could have done it. Maybe looking big picture, they decided not to. So I'm not too sure. I don't know. Do you think, from what we know now, are you comfortable with the back end here? Do you think we need to see the Oilers look at a PTO, or are you okay waiting for the regular season and maybe the trade deadline to accrue some cap space?
Well, this is the question mark. Like, I don't know how good Ty Emberson is, right? Don't have a clue. He's only played 30 games, you guys. So if you're telling me, let's say for fun, you're going to make Troy Stetcher on your second pairing. Troy Stetcher's your second pairing guy, so he's going to have to play like 19 minutes here. You're going to have Emberson. He's going to have to kill penalties, play on the third pair with Kulak. That defense isn't good enough. So I'm going to tell you that I think what's going on right now is this, guys. You could walk out and sign a Tyson Barrie tomorrow for $1 million, I'll bet, to come up here in a 1-year deal. He wants a contract. The Oilers would rather bring guys like that in on a PTO. So it's a bit of a game of chicken with the remaining UFAs out there. Teams don't want to sign the contract. They'd love to bring them in for free on a PTO. Players are all looking for a 1-year deal because they'd rather have a deal. So that's the game that's going on right now. I will say to you, if we're asking for predictions, I will predict that the Oilers will bring a veteran right side defender in for camp. They hope on a PTO, but if they get forced to, they might have to sign a contract.
Spec, I don't know if you saw today, John Tortorella and David Quinn joining Team USA and Mike Sullivan for the Four Nations Face-Off Tournament. As I ask you this today, August 21st, 2024, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your level of excitement for this tournament?
Just to see, I'm excited about it. So excited I'm going on a holiday, mind you.
To go watch it live or what?
No. But I'm excited. Listen, you know why I'm excited? Because I've talked to Connor McDavid for all these years. The guy hasn't put on a Team Canada jersey other than I think he played in the World Championships, but that doesn't sort of count. He hasn't done a best on best in a Team Canada jersey since the World Juniors. The guy's 27 years old here. So I'm excited if Connor McDavid gets to go play in a line with Nathan McKinnon and Sid Crosby or something like that. To me, that's the start of it. I think McDavid deserves it. I think it'll be fun to see, does Bouchard make the team? Things like that. Is Skinner going to be a goalie? That's the part of the whole thing that's fun. The Four Nations, I don't know what the trophy looks like. I don't care what the trophy looks like. If they win, it'll be okay. But, we're not having any parades here. I just want to see Team Canada get assembled. I want to see, guys from different teams playing with each other. That's what I want to see. And we haven't seen it for too long.
You're totally right about that one. Best on best, maybe not quite there, but 2026 will be here in no time. Spec, thanks so much for doing this today.
Hey, breaking news. Joey Votto just retired.
Really?
Live on the air. Unbelievable.
Yeah, breaking news.
I thought you were going to say he gets to play in a game, but no, going the other way. Well, good to know, Spec. Thanks for the little hint there.
All right, boys. Take care.
Take care.
There you go. Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joining us on the Jason Gregor Show every day at 5 o'clock. Brought to you by GS Construction. They're hiring. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction. So I haven't looked at that yet, but we're going to trust Spec on this one. Joey Votto announcing his retirement from Major League Baseball. Dang. Just wanted to see him play for the Blue Jays. We talked about it earlier today with Wilner. Now it's not going to happen. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Green Bay Packers here on the show. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Honk your home for Papa John's newest deal. It's one big deal for one big pizza. An extra large New York style one-topping pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's original fresh, never frozen dough. Hand stretched thinner to make 8 extra large slices with your favorite mouth-watering toppings. So hold and fold that slice like a New Yorker. Bigger is better when it comes to pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get some extra large New York style one-topping pizza for only $17.99 at Papa John's.
Rule number 12, not spending the afternoon tubing on the Pembina. Next, you're going to tell us you don't wear flannel. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules, and if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they won't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Get a great night's sleep during the final weekend of the Brick Summer Sleep Event. Take up to 50% off mattresses, up to $1,200 off sleeper sectionals, and buy more, save more, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, shop amazing deals in other departments, like up to 20% off outdoor furniture and up to 25% off home entertainment furniture and fireplaces. You won't want to sleep through these fantastic prices. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Employee pricing is on now at Chevrolet. Right now, get up to $10,500 off select Silverado 1500 High Country Crew Cab models. With an available 6.2-liter V8 engine and standard Chevrolet safety assist, including forward collision alert, getting out of the city and having a nice, quiet day on the beach is easier than ever this season. So relaxing. Ask your Chevrolet advisor for details.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Halley, Wanye Gretz with you. Declan Kruger on the other side of the board, and we've got young Donovan Paulson with us. It's his birthday tomorrow.
Not so young tomorrow.
Not tomorrow. Getting a little bit older. Father time is undefeated, Donovan.
Undefeated.
Let's continue our look around the NFL camps as we inch closer and closer to the start of the 2024 season. Very lucky to be joined by Rob Demovsky of ESPN, covers the Green Bay Packers better than anyone, I would say. Rob, thanks so much for doing this tonight. How are you doing?
I'm great, Connor. How are you?
Oh, doing really good, and really excited to see what happens in this NFC North division this season. You got the Detroit Lions, who we talked about them yesterday in the program, and the Bears earlier today, and it seems like everyone's got high hopes. I think the only question might be the Minnesota Vikings and what they're able to do with Sam Darnold under center. But you look out at Green Bay, it's second year for Jordan Love as the full-time starter. He's got a ton of weapons. What steps forward, improvements in his game are you expecting to see out of Jordan Love in year two?
I mean, I think the biggest changes, improvements probably came middle of last season, right? I mean, like in the last 8 games of the regular season, he was a different quarterback than he was. They were 2-5 and seemingly going nowhere, and he sort of caught fire at the end. And I think the Jordan Love that you saw over the last 2 months of the season is the guy that they think is going to sort of just pick up where he left off. And the great thing about what they have going here is that all these guys, the receivers, the tight ends, they're all sort of the same age and kind of came in the same time with Jordan in terms of, when they got their opportunities. Jordan was here 3 years without playing, but you look at Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson. I mean, they're in their third year with the Packers. Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, the other two receivers, in the second year. They were rookies when Jordan Love was a first-year starter. Same thing with Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft, the tight end. I mean, you're talking about maybe their top 6 targets are all guys that have just sort of grown up with Jordan Love in the system. And they think that that's just going to, allow them to build this thing and keep going, as opposed to, throwing a bunch of new guys in here and there. Now they do have a new running back, and that's Josh Jacobs, replacing Aaron Jones. And you can't discount, how important Aaron Jones was to this offense, but they think Jacobs can do a lot of the same things. So they're thinking that, a year ago at this time, they were sort of feeling their way through the offense with a lot of guys who had really never played before. And now they feel like they're at the next level already with this same group coming back together.
Yeah, I mean, the receivers you listed off there, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, it seemed like at points last year, they all looked like they could be wide receiver 1. If you had to try to rank those guys maybe 1 through 4 in terms of targets, where do you think the bulk of them are going to be going?
Yeah, did you hear Matt LaFleur comment last week when he's asked for the umpteenth time about having a number 1 receiver, and he said, "I want to vomit every time I hear you guys bring up number 1 receiver." But it is an interesting topic, especially when you consider that, for most of Aaron Rodgers' time here, he had a number 1, whether it was Greg Jennings early on, then Jordy Nelson, and then Devontae Adams. But look, I can tell you this, like from sheer volume and like the chemistry, Romeo Dobbs and Jordan Love have it. However, Romeo Dobbs maybe isn't necessarily the deep threat guy or the speed guy. That's Christian Watson. But how often are you going to be able to hit on, go routes a game? Maybe once a game if you're lucky. Jaden Reed is the most versatile guy. He can go in the slot. He can go outside. They can run jet sweeps with him. And then there's Dontavian Wicks, who all he did was have the second highest yards per catch average of any of the receivers last year. So it's they're all sort of in the spot where they can all do different things. And then when you think about last year, I'm guessing you won't know the answer to this, but which one of those guys do you think was the first one that had a 100-yard receiving game last year?
I couldn't tell you.
It was Bo Melton. It was none of them. The answer was none. The first guy to get 100 yards in a game was Bo Melton, who was, came off the practice squad. And I say that just because it's a indication of just, how diverse that they are at that position, even if they don't have a so-called, go-to number 1.
I mean, and I kind of think that's a benefit. Like if you look at some teams around the NFL, the game plan is going to be, say, we're going to take out Devontae Adams, let's just say, and let's let the other teams' players try to beat us. But you try to key on one for the Green Bay Packers, and there's not that big of a drop-off. Tell me I'm wrong, but from an outside perspective, it looks like there's not that big of a drop-off, and either of these guys on a week-to-week basis can light you up.
No, I think that's accurate, Connor. I think it's a good assessment of where they're at. Now, the flip side of that is if you absolutely on 3rd and 8 have to have a conversion, to keep a drive going, to go down and win a game, is there a surefire guy that's going to get that for you? My thought would be it's Romeo Dobbs, but it's not like it's not like Devontae Adams or Jordy Nelson or Randall Cobb, who's, for sure going to get it. So I do think while there's benefits to having a bunch of different guys, there's also a time where you want to have a true number 1 who you absolutely know. Everybody in the stadium knows that's where the ball's going, and he still catches it.
Oh, for sure. We are joined here by ESPN Green Bay Packers reporter Rob Demovsky, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. And we'll just stick with the offense for a few more questions here, because as I go through there, the backfield's looking pretty good. But there might be someone in fantasy football, too, that I think could be a sleeper at the tight end position. Luke Musgrave saw some good things only in his second year, a second-round pick last season. Do you think he could be sneaky good, especially looking at it from a fantasy football perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because last year in training camp, Luke Musgrave was the guy who stood out more than anybody. They seemed like they threw him the ball several times a day, every day. And this summer, it really hasn't, he hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities. Now, whether that's an indication that, they're working on other stuff or he's not going to be as big a part of the plan as he was last year, I don't know. But, it does seem like for whatever reason, and this may mean nothing. I've seen plenty of training camps where, you'll see things in camp and you think they're going to happen during the season and they don't, and then vice versa. But look, Luke Musgrave has a skill set and a size combination that says this guy should catch, 50, 55 passes and have 8 to 10 touchdowns every year. That's just the way he's built. So I do think it'll be interesting to see, how they start the year with him. They also, Tucker Kraft was another rookie last year, tight end. And the interesting thing is Musgrave played a ton early and Kraft basically didn't play. Then Musgrave got banged up. He had a lacerated kidney actually at one point and missed a bunch of games. And then Tucker Kraft sort of came on at the end of the season and had a couple big plays. This is the first time, assuming they're both healthy to start the season, that we'll have maybe, have an opportunity to see them both kind of at the same time and the two tight end set and see what they can do coming out of that. But it just speaks to, the volume of weapons is not just in the receiver room. There's plenty in the tight end room as well.
We had a text come in here from Bad Nave just talking about an 8-game sample size to pay Love $50 million a season.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. Has that been a thought around Green Bay at all? I mean, really, you've known him for the 3+ seasons that he's been there as well. Was that any of a discussion going on with Packers fans?
It is with fans, but from an organizational standpoint, no. They got an opportunity to watch him, behind the scenes for 3 years, and then they got an opportunity to see how he grew as the season went, his first season as a starter went on. My counter to that is, what were they supposed to do? Like, were they supposed to not pay him and then just start over? Like, you invested 4 years in this guy. There was no way Jordan Love was going to play for the $11 million that he was owed this year. That would have been malpractice on his agent's part to allow him to do that, and Love certainly wasn't going to put himself at risk. So I guess, everyone says, well, boy, do you think they should have paid him? He only played 8 good games or 10 good games. Like, the counter is, what choice did they have? Like, other than starting over at quarterback, which obviously they don't want to do. So, there's some things in the contract that, there's, $150 million of it's guaranteed, but not all $220 million of it's guaranteed. So, if it doesn't work out in a year or two, it won't completely kill them. But, basically, the way they had a great benefit of allowing Jordan Love to take his time and learn and watch Aaron Rodgers. But the flip side is that when it came time to pay him, you didn't have maybe as much playing experience to go off of as you would have liked.
When you look at that secondary, in the division certainly will be tested. The Chicago Bears loading up their receiving core, the Minnesota Vikings, Justin Jefferson, like you said, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson when he's able to get back out there. The Detroit Lions have some really nice pieces. How do you think this defense will hold up in division?
Yeah, it's a great question. I will say this: you look at the quarterbacks in the division, and I still think there's question marks on everybody. You could have the greatest receivers ever, and if you don't have a quarterback, let's see what Caleb Williams does with his new addition and Keenan Allen and all the things they have there. Minnesota obviously is going to go through a transition year, sort of a gap year with Sam Darnold as quarterback. And as good as Jared Goff was, right, last year, he's still Jared Goff, right? Like let's see if he can stack 2, 3, 4 really good seasons together in Detroit. So I don't think this is the strongest quarterback division in the NFL.
When you look at this season, how things are looking so far for the Packers, where do you see them finishing in the NFC North?
Yeah, you would think either 1 or 2, right? Chicago's a little bit of an unknown. Minnesota seems to be in a rebuild, and Detroit and Green Bay were playoff teams last year, and you would expect them to be playoff teams this year. It's just, if things go according to plan and there's no major injuries, you would think that there's 2 playoff teams at least out of this division. But as we know from year after year, there's always teams that come out of nowhere to make the playoffs. There's always teams that you think are playoff locks and they don't make it. So, I just think it's so hard to tell in this league from year to year.
Rob, really appreciate your time today. Great to have you on the show, talk a little about the Green Bay Packers, and hopefully we can get you on later on in the season, maybe close to playoff time.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Great, Rob. Thanks so much. That is Rob Demovsky, covers the ESPN, or the Green Bay Packers for ESPN. Been doing so for a long time. Does great work, so we're really happy to have him join us on the show here. And with bad Niv texting in again. So after 8 to 10 games, they have zero choice but to pay him that much. Come on now, pay the guy for sure. But highest paid QB wasn't needed. It's tough in the NFL. Like, you look at a few other teams, and Declan, you can get on this as well. Like, would you have wanted to pay Tua Tagovailoa as much as the Miami Dolphins did? Some might say so. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's the guy that can go on the road and win a game. You got to. That's just the way the market's going. You got to pay them like $50 million or 25, whatever it's going to be to keep them in the contract. Sorry, it is 50. It sucks. I mean, we've seen that in Edmonton. We saw with Darnell Nurse. The market was going that way. There was a bunch of players signing for that much money. That was just kind of the rate it was going in the NFL. To keep a guy who you believe to be your quarterback for the next decade, I think you just kind of have to make that financial commitment and hope it works out. Like, it could be worse. You know, you could be the New York Giants who they paid Daniel Jones. They thought he was the guy. That's the next step, that second contract. You want to keep your quarterback in your uniform. That's just the money. That's biz, right?
Connor, I have no idea. While you were talking to that Green Bay Packer, little life update from me, my end of the studio. I had a photo open on my laptop. I've been Googling Reed Schaefer. I said, that's pretty funny to me. Maybe what I'll do is make that a story on Oilers Nation. So I put it up. And if you could just look and see who the fifth person down looking at the story was in that screenshot I just showed you. Who is it?
Reed Schaefer.
This is how I get myself into jams, Connor.
Also, the Golden Muzzy.
That's neither here nor there. It must poor Reed. He's trying to live his life. And here's this Oilers Nation guy. He's a predator now. Won't leave him alone.
Blocked.
No, he looks. That's why I love Reed Schaefer. He was the only one to play along with our childish games.
The GOAT.
Oh, man. I wish you others would try.
I wonder if he's listening right now.
He must be, man. He looked at it within 1 minute of it putting it up. Reed, if you're listening, come home. We'll make it work on the back end. We'll make some deals. We'll trade Cody Ceci again if we have to.
Anything to bring him back.
Just come home.
You have the Reed Schaefer jersey. What number?
53.
53.
Why 53? No reason at all. How's that for the best Oilers jersey of all time?
Because you do what you want.
He didn't have a game in the NHL.
Was his camp number? Was it 53?
53.
Okay, so it would make sense then. Wow. A fair assumption.
People aren't going to wear their Pinafore number in the NHL. Come on now.
Oh, man. I did a little thing on the Jason Gregor Show Facebook page where when a player would re-sign, I'd say, like, congratulations to so-and-so on re-signing.
Classy.
And I'd be with their rookie number. So, like, Draisaitl, what was his? Basically, I had a bunch of people telling me, that's not him.
What was Draisaitl? He wasn't 29 off the jump?
Well, he had a rookie camp number.
Oh, in rookie camp.
So that's what I would post those pictures. And yeah, people got unreasonably mad because I didn't use a modern picture. It was just a picture from rookie camp. And they'd say, that's not even him. Get the real picture.
One of the funnest things to do, trolling. And trolling can be fun.
55 Draisaitl had.
55 in rookie camp?
Yeah.
Young Drew Bannister, 55.
An older Dylan Holloway.
One of the funniest things to do is the countdown on the Nation's Instagram. So it's 39 days until training camp, 14 days, and we put up photos of Oilers. But you put up the non-famous Oiler that wore that number, people get so mad. It's so funny. They're like, how could you, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but like, how could you put Cal Pickard is 30 and not Bill Radford? What are you guys, stupid?
You did Mats Lindgren instead of Jordan Eberle, losers. Like that?
So funny.
Mariusz Turkowski.
The Polish Prince?
Is he 23?
Oh, that's a good question. I remember one time, when he was an Oiler and he was dating Isabella Skorkupa?
No.
Who was a Bond girl. The active Bond girl was dating an Edmonton Oiler. I think it was in the Pierce Brosnan Bond movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw it in Oilers game, Connor.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Unbelievable. Shout out to the Polish Prince.
I do remember like Jarrett Stoll when he was dating Rachel Hunter.
I remember those.
That was kind of cool.
That was cool.
That was very cool.
It's nice to see what Oilers can get in the open market.
Connor McDavid dating designer Lauren
LK1.
Yeah, that's the Vogue one. The Vogue in Australia. That's what it said, right?
I like that. She held her own.
Designer Lauren Kyle marries hockey player Connor McDavid.
Yes, Lauren Kyle stands on her own 2 feet.
Oh, now you got the picture. Now I've seen your story. I'm in the background. You should tag me on Oilers Nation post so I can get some followers. I can get some shine.
You want that?
No. Keep my account private. It's actually not private, but
it's not private.
No.
Why don't you just shout it out? We're live on the radio. Why don't you guys go follow Connor on Instagram?
Connor Halley _.
Yeah.
There was a time where my now wife was like really trying to get to 1,000 followers on Instagram, and she got there. And then I was like, I'm going to go on Twitter and tell people to follow me so I can get there too. Never did it. But I've always thought it'd be cool to make the 1K mark.
What are you at?
Like 800.
You're so close.
So close. Almost there.
Pump your own tires. Shout yourself out.
My IG's boring. Norman at Combine ran into Jared and Rachel at IKEA. She's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
At IKEA. I wonder what they're buying. IKEA is unreal.
Shelving. Rich celebrities love shelves for all their material goods.
Have you had their water? Like flavored water drink?
Rachel Hunter's water?
No, IKEA's.
I see.
Yeah, Declan, you get it. It
like
is
the
good.
berry juice, like the yeah.
We drove back from BC. I wanted food from IKEA. I've never had it before. I got a drink and it was not bad. Tevi says Hillary Duff and Mike Comrie.
Top pull of all time for Oilers, except for LK1 and Connor.
Yeah.
One time I took Wanye Jr., who's 3, to IKEA, and I said to him, and he likes to know in advance what's going on, Connor. So you got to tell him in advance. Okay, son, we're going to the store. We're going to buy you a big boy bed. Okay. And at the furniture store, they serve lunch and it's delicious and you can get ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
You can get ice cream at the bed store. Yeah. Couldn't comprehend the whole way there. And he'll still make you can get ice cream at the bed store. I'm like, son, capitalism is advanced in 2024. You can get anything anywhere.
Just on the topics of players and their spouses, partners, I saw Leon Draisaitl's now fiance in a movie on like last Saturday night.
Celeste Desjardins?
Yeah.
Are you a fan of Hallmark?
No, but my wife is. She was watching. She's like, is that Leon Draisaitl's fiance? I said, I think it is.
What was the movie?
Oh, I don't know.
She has a couple of Hallmark movies.
Yeah. Well, very cool.
Great.
Very cool. We'll take a break now. When we come back, more of your text, 1-833-401-1440, goalie masks, pie, snakes, whatever you want to talk about. We'll do that next on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Donovan Paulson, Declan Kruger with you here. Coming to you live on Sports 1440. Also online streaming at YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and X. The show brought to you by playalberta.ca.
The only thing as hot as the weather this summer is a night out at On the Rocks. Every weekend, enjoy live music and top DJs spinning your favorite tracks. The dance floor is the place to be.
Celebrating a birthday or stagette?
Let OTR take the work out of the planning for you. Book your party online at ontherocksedmonton.com. Join OTR every evening from 4 p.m. for a great atmosphere and good company.
There's something for everyone to enjoy.
Grab your Good Vibe Drive and head to On the Rocks, corner of Jasper Ave and 118th Street.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Rule number 116. In Waterton, walk with a lean. The wind will always prop you up. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
Diablo Boots has been open for business for 60 years.
selling Canadian-made quality boots. Diablo has Canada West work, biker, and cowboy boots with fixable soles and heels. So why buy boots like Area, Justin, or Red Wing that are made in China? Get your money's worth with Diablo's Canada West tough, comfortable work boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. And does Diablo sell the best boots in town? You betcha.
You still got some time to go get your Lotto 649 ticket, or you could head online at playalberta.ca. Plus, use code word SUMMER with a minimum $5 deposit, and you get a free $50 voucher at the casino at playalberta.ca. Use your game sense. Stay within your limits. 1-833-401-1440. That is the text line if you want to converse with us here on the show. Grant says Messier and Madonna. Grant, I did not know that was a thing.
It was indeed when he was captain of the Rangers.
Oh, man, that guy ran New York, right?
Oh, yeah.
Beer Hunter Mark, Stoli married Erin Andrews.
No slouch.
Erin Andrews is terrific at what she does.
Yeah.
I think they have a child now.
Do they?
Yeah, I think so. Very cool. Stoli's awesome. One time we had him on the show, and he's like, good. Yeah, I'm good to go. I'm just waiting for my Starbucks. And then midway through the interview, he was like, guys, I got to go get my coffee. Be right back. Ran in, ran out. And just carried on. Just a true professional.
But they don't have drive-thrus in Stoli land?
I think you got to go in. You do the online order, which is the way to do it at Bucks.
Stoll had an extra level of swag above typical NHL player. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
A different level of riz.
Really found it probably in LA.
Yeah, I think that definitely like moving into the celebrity world, he definitely could hold his own.
Absolutely. We did talk about pie. Fire said peach pie is awesome. Dawn, strawberry rhubarb. Tyler says meat has no place in pie. Not shepherd's pie, not cottage pie, not chicken pot pie. They all should be deemed unfit for human consumption. I love a nice chicken pot pie. Shepherd's pie, pretty good too.
Throw a little lemon meringue in there. Mix it up.
Meringue?
No?
Not likely.
I don't know how to cook.
Is pie one of the most versatile foods? Like, pie can be all encapsulating. Like, you can have a pie for dessert or dinner.
Yeah.
I guess you could do that for literally any food if you wanted to. Dealer's choice.
You ever have breakfast or dinner, Connor, at your house?
Sometimes.
Crazy times.
Does little Wanye love that?
Crazy times. He'll eat
Wanye Jr.?
Yeah, he'll just sort of, when you're 3 years old, every meal is every meal you want it to be.
Breakfast for dinner?
Yeah.
What?
They have food at the chair store.
Food at the bed store?
What? Yeah, bed store. What?
Really opens things up. A lot of, if pumpkin pie was so good, we'd eat it year round. From Josh.
Is that true? Have you ever gone to the grocery store and seen eggnog for sale, not at Christmas? I don't think we should be able to have anything anytime we want.
I do think it is available earlier and earlier every year.
Pumpkin pie should be one of those things where the pumpkins are kept locked up until Halloween and then released to the general public for a short time and then shut down 28th of December every year. And we don't even think about them again until the week of Halloween.
I think that's kind of what makes it so good. Is like eggnog and pumpkin pie. It's like, it's that I'm a huge fall guy. I love the fall. So to like get it in there, you got Halloween, then you got Thanksgiving, and then, you're so close. It's just the season. It makes it so good. It just takes me back to simpler times. Can't wait for the hot weather to go away.
One time when I was a lad, Connor, we did a chocolate almond fundraiser. You know those?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
And I had the case in my room, and I would eat a box of it every single day to start the day. I'd wake up, Before I go to school, I'd eat a box of chocolate almonds every single day until the case ran out. Then I realized I had to pay for those almonds. You know what the lesson I learned was? You can't have dessert for breakfast. It's too expensive in the long run.
Crime doesn't pay.
Nope.
That's what I learned.
Had to pay those almonds.
Peach pie, hands down. Norman Combine. See, I don't know if I've really had a good peach pie.
If you go to, what was it, Fife and Deckel you'd mentioned?
The ones I listed, I just see people looking.
Oh, yeah. They're looking
in my peripheral
like
vision.
Flamingos in a cage.
I think the pies I listed are the only pies I've really ever had. So they're on my Mount Rushmore of pies. Like I had to dig deep and go with chicken pot pie.
You know who's going to be happy Gregor's back? Spec. Because there won't be any Mount Rushmores. All the fun will end. And Army, Daryl will be thrilled.
Well, Connor could just keep it going.
Hypothetically, I could do that.
But you won't.
Because kind of Declan's thing.
And Gregor go, what's going on with all these Mount Rushmores?
It's a treat when Declan takes over 5 questions. The next time will be hopefully August of 2025.
Yeah.
Unless, something goes wrong.
You never know. Or goes right.
I suppose so.
That's what I love about Gregor, though. There's no opportunity that could be presented to him that he would leave. They could be like, Gregor, you get to give away the Academy Award. He'd be like, no, I'm busy.
Doing
2 to 6 every day on Sports 1440. Leave me alone.
Big Easy texting in. Asked you about Votto earlier. And wouldn't you know it, he retires. Another dropping of the ball by the Blue Jays front office. For shame. Yeah, Mike Wilner nailed it. Why not let him play? Like, you could have got him in there against his old team. Let him live like a childhood dream to play for his Jays. And they dropped the ball.
So he wanted one more game as a Jay before he retired?
He's never played as a Jay.
What?
Like, he signed with the team for like a long shot to get a chance, and then they never did it. Like, who cares about their team? Like, who cares if you win a few games here and there? Let Votto play. Probably sell some jerseys.
It's like Bronny James. Sometimes you just need good sideline stories. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to be able to deliver the winning team that your fans want, sometimes you got to sign weird players to PTOs and do weird stuff and get LeBron James's kid to play and make all your jerseys back in a week.
It's called doing numbies.
Amen.
That's what we're all about here.
Numbies.
Coach Al says whipped cream pie. We also have, what is this? Save on Foods Convention. Fire says Save on Foods. Great peach pie. I worked there in the bakery. Never had any of their peach pie. But Jan, a longtime listener, says the best chicken pot pie is at Save On. And I will tell you, many a times, that was my lunch.
A chicken pot pie?
I would throw a couple packs of pepper on it, mush it all together, and it was heaven. I think they would use the leftover from the chickens.
What would you do at the bakery?
Well, I did produce for like 6 years and then the bakery for 2.
Okay.
Made bread.
Got in early.
Yeah, 5 a.m.
Oh, no. Which Save On?
Mayfield.
Too early.
Very early, but you're out of there early too.
Because you were up so early. What time you have to go to bed when you had to go to work for 5?
Oh, buddy. So I would go to the other station. I would do the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'd go home, nap, and then I'd get up and do, we had like Bob McCown Sports or the highlight reel. So I would wake up at 4:25, 4:30, not know if it was AM or PM, but know I had to go to either Save On or the radio station.
That's no way for a man to live.
It was awful.
You still work at the bakery?
Every day.
I see.
No, put that life behind me. I couldn't keep up anymore. It's a young man's game. That's going to do it for us here on the show. Big thank you to all of our guests who joined us on the program today. Go check out the podcast if you'd like to hear it. Mike Wilner, Wade Curtis Pashelka, Alex Shapiro, Randy Janda, and Mark Spector. Rob Demovsky joined us to talk Green Bay Packers. It's all across the internet. You can go find it. We'll tweet it out tonight as well if you want to go listen to those. Set up the download, auto-subscribe. That would be awesome. Coming up next, it's another edition of Turn Sports. Enjoy that. Fox Sports Radio from 9 till 7. And Carrie and the boys are back for Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson. I'm Connor Halley. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Have a fantastic evening. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 o'clock, to do it all over again. But right now, we're going to get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Rhoda Exclusive, an exclusive membership with luxury assets such as magnificent holiday properties, a Lamborghini, Ferrari, boats, and more. Travel, drive, and relax in style. Now at RhodaExclusive.com. Limited openings.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
And for your sports 1440 update, we start in the MLB. A breaking piece of news is Canadian first baseman Joey Votto, who was playing this season in the Toronto Blue Jays organization with the Buffalo Bisons in AAA, announced his retirement on Instagram about half an hour ago. Scores around the MLB right now. Diamondbacks and Marlins tied 3-3 in the bottom of the fourth. Twins up huge on the Padres 8-0 in the top of the fourth as well. Rockies trailing the Nats 5-0 in the top of the fifth. Yankees leading the Guardians 4-0 in the fourth, and the Reds trail the Blue Jays 6-0 at the end of the third. Two other games locked at 0-0, the Phillies and the Braves, and the Brewers and the Cardinals. Finals from earlier today was the Orioles and the Mets. Mets winning 4-3. Red Sox over the Astros 4-1. Rangers over the Pirates 1-0. White Sox over the Giants 6-2. WNBA action right now. The Atlanta Dream lead the Phoenix Mercury by a score of 19-6 at the end of the first quarter. Later on today, it'll be the Minnesota Lynx and the Las Vegas Aces at 7:30. CFL News, Jason Moss did confirm that Cody Fajardo will start for the Montreal Alouettes as they take on the Elks in Week 12. Saskatchewan Roughriders running back AJ Ouellette will be out Thursday against the Argonauts. Chad Kelly will be getting his first start for the club since suspension in that one. And in the NHL, the Blue Jackets did sign forward Cole Sillinger to a 2-year, $4.5 million contract with $4.5 million in total money. Up next on the station, we'll hear from Turn Sports, Fox Sports Radio at 9, and then Kevin Carius, Brandon Douglas back tomorrow at 7. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440.